All right, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 62 of Talking Taker, our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. My name is Alex Dorio. I am one of your co-hosts, and I am joined, as always, for this very special episode by my wrestling buddy, by my tag team partner, by my fellow creature, Mr. Travis White. And Travis, are you ready after 62 episodes now to finally let the dead man rest in peace?
Man, ready or not, here it comes anyway, you know? So, yeah, I can't believe it's been 62 episodes we've been doing this, and now he's finally gonna go to put the old dead man out to pasture, you know?
You can take a dirt nap.
Take a dirt nap. Well, hey, we're going to cover some stuff here. And I almost just dropped a line here that The Rock says, but I'll say that for a little bit later on. So, yeah, we're going to let him take a dirt nap. But anyway, yeah, man, I can't believe it's taking this long to get through this, but there's some good stuff, some bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about how his 1999 finishes up here before he disappears into the old, the old Special 81 or whatever that place is called.
The local 81.
Local 81. Yeah. And then got his change of character. So yeah, man, I'm excited to get into this and kind of cover up some loose ends we never got into, and then give a little top 10 and cover a special Coliseum video here.
Well, you just teased it out all right there, my friend. A little bit of a different format for this week's episode.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's good. Who doesn't love a good teaser? So this week we don't have a pay-per-view match to get to. Last week we covered The Undertaker's final pay-per-view match for 1999, so we wrapped up that year. So this week we wanted to still we're in this in-between stage, because that isn't the last we see of The Undertaker for this run. He's still on TV all the way up until the next pay-per-view, up until that go-home show. And a lot of eventful stuff happens in those few weeks right there. But since we don't have a pay-per-view match to cover, we decided we're going to dig back into the archives. We're going to go way, way back to the earlier years, some of the glory days, the really fun days at the beginning of his career, and explore one of his other Coliseum videos, much like we did a few months ago with the He Buries Them Alive video. We're going to take a look at the Face of Fear Coliseum video from 1994, which has 4 rare matches that we've never seen before, and a couple of ones we've actually covered on this show, but just a lot of fun throwback content on there. We thought it'd be just something little celebratory here to wrap up this run before we move into the next evolution of his character. And then after all that, we are going to also, Travis and I have kept this from each other. We don't know what's on the other person's list, but we both compiled our top 10 Undertaker matches, pay-per-view matches. Of this run, of his first 9 years from Survivor Series 1990 up to SummerSlam 1999. So we're going to share those with each other. We're going to share those with you. And yeah, just kind of put a bow on things for this run. Don't know how long it's going to take. This is a no time limit encounter right here.
False count anywhere.
Absolutely.
Time limit draw.
Could be long, could be short, but we're going to get everything in. We're going to celebrate this incredible performer that I know you and I have come to appreciate and love even way, way more than when we first started this journey.
Oh, yes.
Back in August of 2017. We've come a long way, and we've still got a long way to go. But we're going to try to, like I said, put a bow on this initial run.
I couldn't say it better myself, man. So why don't we let's move on into 1999, I guess, you know. So we left off last week with him winning the tag team titles. Winning the tag team titles, right, from X-Pac and Kane at SummerSlam 1999. Fantastic match. Can't put it over enough. Hope you guys checked that one out. It was so good. What a fun little sprint. So getting into the next night, again, Raw 326. This is August 23rd, 99. And basically, Kane and X-Pac come out for commentary during Taker and Big Show defending the tag titles against the Acolytes. Because remember, they were involved in all this too. And in a nice little so this is a little nuance I love, man. When they're walking out, Big Show has his title over his shoulder, and Taker rips it off and hands it to Paul Bearer. So it's just like, don't you know he's the Paul Bearer? Like, he carries our stuff, you know. So it is great, man. I love it. So
That's why he carries the stuff. That you just
Yes.
you just connected those dots for me, man. After
the Paul
62
Bearer, dude.
episodes. Oh my god.
You just got it. There you go.
I mean, I got the pun, but I never realized that's why.
Why he carries everything.
Wow.
I guess it just came to me, man.
Wow.
In a moment of jubilation.
I
right
should
now.
probably retire. I probably shouldn't
All
be
right.
hosting this anymore. All right, I'm gonna head
Well,
out.
that's it, guys.
All right.
See ya. Yeah, man. I just put that together myself as well. So, what do you know? It only took us 62 episodes and I to get there. So
It's late. It's all right. Our brains usually don't work this late when we're recording.
That's
this,
true.
So it's okay.
That's true.
You know what else? You know what worked for me though was Kane doing commentary for this match.
With the headset on.
With the headset on, he never says a word, but at least he puts the headset on.
It's the little things, man. The nuances is awesome. I love it.
It really, the match itself breaks into just a big all-out brawl between everybody. Undertaker and Big Show just head into the ring, interfere. Show choke slams X-Pac. Taker levels X-Pac with a steel chair to the head. The Acolytes join in on the beatdown and just breaks into a big old schmoz as it's kind of teasing another match that's going to happen on later in the show as well.
Yeah, so like you said, it's kind of a schmoz finish, and then you see them walking out, Taker and Show, and Taker's kind of reprimanding Big Show on stage, and Kane standing over X-Pac in the ring, and then so later on, that's going to lead to Kane and X-Pac versus good old Vidian, as I called him last week. We got Viscera and Midian, who will now be known as Vidian from this point forth. So jump on the Vidian train, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what we're going to be calling them. So, and dude, something happens with them later on that I did not even remember. So I can't wait to get to that. So of course, in a I guess twist of fate here, or a what do you call it when somebody switches roles? Anyway, whatever. I can't think of the poetic cool thing I'm trying to say, but whatever happens.
Think of it. Reversal of fortunes.
There you go. We'll edit that back in. Yeah, reversal of fortune. Who knows? Wheel of Fortune. The Show, Taker, and Paul Bearer come out for commentary, and is this the debut of Taker on commentary? Have we heard this yet?
That's the first time I can remember ever seeing him do commentary. But it's also one of the first times I can remember. Yeah, it's one of the first times I can remember Paul Bearer doing commentary as well, dude. He calls his team.
You talking about color? You're looking at color right now. Shoot that camera in, cameraman. Look at the really big show. The Batman.
Which sounds like the best WWE Network show that never happens. Oh my gosh. Love to watch that.
Oh man, a table for three, dude. Really big show. Phenom and the Batman. That would be so good.
What might have been.
Dude, he called. I know, man. What could have been? If he could have held on for a few more years, we could have got that on the network. So, dude, it is just, I can't believe Taker on commentary. It's just like, it took us this long to get in there, but this character, again, he's kind of building more towards a biker Taker, as we said last week. And he speculates that Vidian are going to be killers one day. He says, they're still his disciples, basically, he says, and they're going to have this killer instinct one day. And he even winds up calling Kane soft. So he doesn't say it that way, but he does say he's soft. So I thought that was great. I just had to give him a little soft in there. So
R.I.P. Enzo.
Yeah, and Cast.
Yeah, and Cast too. You're right. Yeah, I thought it was weird. We talked last week about the dissolution of the ministry, but now apparently Vidian are still the Undertaker's disciples here. So they're playing fast and loose with the storylines. It's kind of strange, but anyway, the Acolytes come out during the match and take out Kane on the outside, and Viscera actually gets to pick up the win here. Get an upset over X-Pac and Kane. He just squashes X-Pac and pins him right there clean in the ring. So that was kind of caught me off guard.
It did, man. And one thing that definitely caught me off guard was this zinger that Paul Bearer has, man, on commentary. He goes, out. I can't even say. He says, the acolytes. I call them the alkylites. It's a little foreshadowing to their APA days, when they're just beer drinkers or something. I just thought it was a little funny shot at them. A little Shootsky comment there. So,
dude, the story of this episode of the podcast is going to be great moments in guest commentary. Because, oh, man, so much of this stuff, and then back to the 1994 stuff. There is some great color commentary moments that we have singled out for you guys. So enjoy the ride on that. But not so good commentary, or not really commentary, but mic work was, I believe, the debut of Lillian Garcia on this episode of Raw. First time I can remember noticing her, and much like Michael Cole in his early days, I'll just say she's come a long way.
Yeah, she has, man.
She had some rough spots this first month getting to see her, but, God bless her. She's she's very talented and has done a lot of great work in that role since then, but started off a little rough. We'll just say that.
Oh, yeah, she definitely was a greenhorn. But, she's come a long way and done great work for them, and even has a podcast out nowadays. And she's actually a great interviewer. I really do. I don't listen to it all the time, but if I see somebody I really like on there, I'll listen to it. So she's a good interviewer. So, here she was a little wet behind the ears still, as they say down south. I guess. I don't know. Where do they say that? I've heard it before.
I don't know. That sounds like something Jerry Lawler would say.
Oh, my. Moving on. SmackDown. The premiere of SmackDown. You guys remember we covered the pilot a few episodes ago, but this is the actual premiere of them on, as a show. This is the first quote-unquote SmackDown that wasn't the pilot. Here we go. This is SmackDown 1 on August 26, 1999. So,
yeah, we can't really overstate what a huge impact the addition of SmackDown to WWE schedule is right here. Because, they've had two major shows with Heat now for the past year. We've been covering it, and we're pretty much done covering that. Basically, nothing really eventful happens here in this build-up, and be hard to believe that Undertaker really ever even appears on Sunday Night Heat after that. I don't know for sure, but maybe some of the pay-per-view pre-shows or something like that. So we're really kind of done covering Heat, but SmackDown with this edition, Heat's been important, but nothing you couldn't really miss. We've covered some stuff on there, but it's usually all like teasing stuff for Raw. It's hardly almost never been something hugely important there. But with SmackDown now, we have, at least for the beginning, it's like we have two A shows to cover here. Mm-hmm. Raw and SmackDown treated equally here at first. So feuds are moving faster. There's more things happening here to fill in the timelines. So we've got a ton of stuff on these episodes to cover. And then, a long time from now, it's going to lead to having two separate brands, two totally separate rosters. So it just kind of caught me off guard. Kind of crazy to look back at where we started, back at episode 1, where Undertaker would appear like once a month on TV doing a squash match. But that's what everybody did. It was you got to see your favorite guys, once or twice a month, except for somebody like IRS, who somehow appeared on every episode of every WWF program, it seemed like back then. But we've come a long way.
Yeah, we've come a long way. You're right. We've come a huge, long way. And, man, I remember watching this episode at my house, just flipping back and forth between this and Thunder. And it's just like, this is a wrestling fan's heaven back then, man. You had to choose. Monday nights were taken up by WCW and WWF. Now your Thursday night was, before Thunder moves to Wednesday. You're going to get ECW on Fridays coming here soon after this, because I remember watching that debut episode with you at your house. It's just, man, Monday Night Wars, Thursday Night Wars, great stuff. And something I don't even have in my notes, I just popped off the top of my head. You're talking about how, they're kind of like two A shows. This eventually leads to Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara leaving, is the addition of SmackDown. Yeah. And he's going to lead here. I think he leaves right at Unforgiven or right after Unforgiven. I can't remember. But I'm
sure one of our listeners can shout us out. I tried to find the exact date, but it's sometime in September of 1999. Yeah. Before, I think it's
Yeah.
before this Unforgiven show.
I think it's the week before because I think he said he turned in the script for the night after and had Jericho going over Rock actually, and then they turned it into something else. Like Jericho got jobbed out by a Hardcore Holly or something. Anyway, I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So this is going to lead to Russo because again, for as much crap as people give Russo, you can't say these episodes that we've been covering haven't been super long because there's so much to cover. Well, now he and Ed Ferrara are having to do that twice a week. On 2-hour shows for everybody, making sure everyone has something to do. So that probably would be exhausting, and you're not getting any more pay either. So, it is what it is. We don't have to dissect that, but, it definitely gets busier, busy here. So
it does get busier and busier, although Undertaker only's got one segment here, really, on this episode. He's going to have a lot more here in the weeks to come, but he is going to defend the tag team titles along with Big Show in a triple threat match here against the Acolytes and then against X-Pac and Kane. So a pretty big match for this debut episode of SmackDown. And, of course, we did cover that pilot episode back in I believe it's the Backlash episode of our... Or no, I think it's maybe the No Mercy episode. Yeah. So you can go back in our archives and hear our thoughts on that pilot episode. But, Undertaker's only in this match, I guess, in theory, because he actually does something we're going to see a lot here in the next few weeks. He sits on the sidelines and does guest commentary and lets Big Show fight out the battle.
Yeah, he shows some tough love, he says, and he says something here that I did not realize. And I'm going to do what we do here, and we're going to say he's responsible for this. So he says,
I'm tag team champions because I want to be. Those titles are just the first step in a major plan. And when the show's ready, I'll reveal that plan.
And I just wrote, dude, he is responsible for what will become his brother's thing. I am the tag team champions.
How about that?
Just, what the heck, man? How about it? So, yeah, dude, I can't believe it, man. He says, I'm the tag team champions. So I love that. Love it.
That is not the only cool thing that he's going to be responsible here for on this episode. That's a neat little twist in there. And, this is all getting into what the reasoning for him leaving, for Undertaker leaving. He's obviously nursing some injuries right now. They put the tag team titles on him, but he's struggling to compete. I mean, that's what that's what's at the heart of this whole storyline of him sitting out these matches and doing commentary instead. Undertaker does get involved a little bit. He gets up at one point because Big Show's not doing what he wants him to do and gives him a little motivational slap to kind of wake him up and warm him up. And it ends up working because Show wins with a chokeslam on X-Pac. And basically, so Show beats 4 guys by himself basically here. They're continuing to build these guys up as major monsters. And it really is. These guys have such a cool dynamic with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Very intimidating. So much potential. It's kind of a shame we didn't get to see the conclusion of whatever they were building for here.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't overstate how much I love Taker and Show together, man. It's just so good. And I've always been an advocate for that kind of stuff. I wouldn't even mind nowadays if they just put Randy Orton and John Cena as a tag team. Like, just something about 2 singles guys that are main eventers, like, watch them tag team. But then when you got these enormous dudes like, Taker and Show, it's even better, man. This stuff's cool. And backstage, we get X-Pac calling himself the weak link, and he kind of walks away from Kane and says Kane's better off by himself. So, because X-Pac keeps getting beat, which is true. He's taking the pinfall in all these matches. So
it's logical. Yeah. Raw episode 327, August 30th, 1999. We're going to continue the storylines going. And Shane McMahon is the guy running things now that Vince McMahon is gone, basically. He's going to make a Falls Count Anywhere match between Undertaker and The Rock. And if The Rock wins, he will get a title shot against Triple H later tonight.
Yeah, because Rock and Mankind had some concerns, and so he's going to give them that. And then he also gives Mankind a match as well because, Taker and Rock is going to be no holds barred, no DQ, Falls Count Anywhere. And then Mankind gets to take on the entire Mean Street Posse with Shane as the ref. And is this a debut of Mankind as Blue Sweats? Or have we seen that? I don't remember him seeing
I think this is the first time we've seen him in his blue sweatpants.
And I would always make that on Create a Wrestler or like change his outfit on the No Mercy game stuff and give him the blue ones. So, so Shane's going to be the referee for that. match. So
Shane's this time his ankle starts acting up instead of his case of bursitis in the shoulder, but it causes Mankind to put the mandible claw on Shane out of frustration, so he's going to lose that match. And then we get a backstage promo with investigative journalist Michael Cole talking to the Big Show, the Phenom, and the Fat Man.
Yes, he interviews what he says is the most awesome tag team champions in the history of the WWF. So, really putting them over there, and I can't say they're not flashy, but I just, as far as a spectacle and to see them and just what they mean to the history of WWF they're pretty awesome, man. I love it. So Taker gives this intense promo about how he's going to shove the soup bone down the Rock's throat, but I think he actually says something else, doesn't he?
Undertaker uses the term cake-hole, which is, that's one of my favorite pieces of terminology of all time, so I really appreciated him dusting that off.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's great, man. It's great. It's great. So, is this when? So I think at this point they're going to have their match, Undertaker and Rock, and Undertaker comes out to the ring and says that Rock hasn't earned his respect to be beaten by him tonight, so he's going to give this match to the Big Show, stand in kind of as his proxy again, and he's not ready for some stand-up comics routine that Rock always does, and I wonder how much of that was a shoot, man, because that's always his go-to is like, you're a stand-up comedian and everything. So, but it's funny because Show's kind of taken it back at first, and then Taker's like, no, beat him up, go in there, and he goes back to commentary, and he goes, all right, this is an everyday thing now. So, man, I just wrote, I wish we had Taker on commentary every week. This iteration of him, not the satanic ministry guy or even the dead cowboy. This one is great because he's kind of almost biker Taker,
He is. He's definitely letting loose with some stuff and showing some of his real personality here. It's really fun to listen to this stuff. And I guess Rock is showing some of his real personality here because he comes out wrestling. Comes out to wrestle in like a pair of Dockers khakis, just like straight off the rack, man, and a pair of loafers. What's going on with this?
It's not the first time we're going to cover. Not the last time we're going to cover that either. Like he wrestles in slacks multiple times during the rest of this remainder of Undertaker's time on the main roster.
What is with that?
I have no idea, man. I guess it's supposed to be like he wasn't prepared for the match, so I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to seem real, but I have no idea. He wrestles in like his alligator shoes and some slacks out of a box. Anyway, I think at this point we get they kind of battle up the ramp, Big Show and Rock, and Big Show hits a Russian leg sweep on the ramp. It looked ugly, so
it did.
But Taker again says, once Big Show learns to be a killer, like no one's going to stand a chance against him. So, which I just wrote, that's probably a little bit of work and a little bit of shoot, as we kind of mentioned and as their relationship, starting in last week's episode, talking about how he really was taking him under his wing and really was trying to show him you can be Andre, you can be a big menacing guy that you don't have to do, drop kicks and kip ups and, show all this, athleticism. You need to be the big killer monster that no one can overcome. So, and in fact, Taker even says he doesn't realize he's 7 foot tall and 500 pounds, which that's part of the character, part of real life, as far as I know. So,
yeah, if you guys out there listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast, 83 Weeks, they just talked about the Giants run in WCW this past Monday, and a lot of that same stuff. Big Show had. And he's had a legendary career, but a lot of this stuff, especially when he was younger, he didn't fully realize his potential and didn't really didn't fully have his head in the game in a lot of ways. It seemed like in WCW and right here at his first few years in the WWF, and that's this whole gimmick on screen and apparently off screen as well with Undertaker and Big Show. So kind of cool to see those things bleeding together, the realism in there.
Yeah.
As far as the match itself, the Big Show is going to beat The Rock here. He's going to choke slam Undertaker. Rock's going to get distracted with Undertaker on commentary on the outside, so Big Show is going to choke slam The Rock through an announce table, put one foot on top of him, and pin him. So even in 1999, dude, that's a huge win for The Rock. I mean, it's a huge win for the Big Show.
Oh, yeah. Especially because X-Pac kicked out of that. For 1 foot choke slam. Now there was a table here, so yeah. But yeah, that's a big win, man. That's a big win, signature win for him. That's a former, world champion there. So, speaking of former world champions or future world champions, Triple H comes out and he starts attacking The Rock, and then Taker just grabs Hunter by the throat for some reason. I guess they still got their animosity there. And then Mankind comes out, and Big Show and Taker beat him up and pretty much leave him laying in the ring, just kind of leaving everybody in the rubble basically. So like I mentioned last week, they put Rock down 1 week on Raw, put Austin down 1 week. Now they're putting Mankind down and Rock again, and kind of shoving Hunter by the wayside. They're just owning folks, man, owning the main event guys, which is going to lead to something amazing.
It is, yeah. Just to clear up with everybody, in case you don't remember, I don't think we mentioned it, but Triple H is now the WWF champion here at this point, as he won the title the night after SummerSlam, and Mankind won the title at SummerSlam. So just to point out where we are in the timeline here, in case you don't remember all that. So Triple H is the champion here. This is all the catalyst for possibly the biggest thing, maybe, I don't know. Well, one of the biggest things that The Undertaker is indirectly or directly responsible for in his career that we're unraveling here, because
I forgot.
Me too, completely. Totally forgot this. The Rock calls out The Undertaker. He doesn't want to match with him, but he just wants to shove his head up the Big Show's rear end. And I just wrote, that wouldn't be the last time that someone's head is shoved up the Big Show's rear end in the WWE.
That's very true. There's a certain owner and some DX members, I believe, they got that. So,
but he wants to have a handicap match with Undertaker and Show, get some revenge on them. But, The Rock's friend Mankind doesn't think that would be wise. He wants to stand up and be The Rock's partner. So the crowd goes electric for that. They want to challenge The Undertaker and Show to put their tag titles on the lines tonight. And that's going to lead incredibly to the formation of the Rock and Sock Connection to combat The Undertaker. There it is, folks.
It's crazy, man. Like you said, like they're not named Rock and Sock yet, but I just flat out forgot that they formed because of this Taker Big Show. But see, I knew I loved this Taker Big Show stuff for some reason, man. This is all in the back of my mind. But yeah, so Taker, I'll say he's directly responsible for the Rock and Sock Connection, you know? Because, and the crowd, like you said, dude, they just ate every second of this Rock and Mankind stuff up, man. They love it. And the more we go on and we talk about, the more they love Mankind stealing Rock's promos and stealing his catchphrases and Rock cutting him off. It was just, golly, it's so awesome. They have such good chemistry, man. I love it. So that brings us to our main event that night. We're going to have the WWF Tag Title match. So we got this Proto Rock and Sock versus the Unholy Union.
And no Paul Bearer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, it's going to lead to later on in the match, I guess, because he has a delivery man, I guess, because so basically Show slides in and basically they double team him and the match gets underway, and Show's basically taking the brunt of the match. As we mentioned, in real life, Taker's injured here and going to need some time off of nurse's injuries, but Paul Bearer kind of saunters out and
I guess he was finishing up all the leftovers at catering.
Yeah, or that pizza from last week. Like the X-Pac pizza. Or X-Pac and his pizza, who knows. But so he comes out, waddles out, and tells Taker something on the apron. And then that just makes Taker leave.
Well, he has something in his jacket. He shows something to Undertaker, like a piece of paper or something. Yeah, I don't know.
He informs him of something somehow, yeah. And anyway, whatever it is, Taker starts storming off toward the back and just drops Big Show, just drops him like a bad habit there and leaves. And so that's going to leave us 2-1 in the ring with Big Show left by himself. And Show almost has his match won, but he gets hit with a Socko. There's a ref bump, a chair shot, people's elbow by Rock and Mankind, and that's going to give a pinfall. And we got new WWF Tag Team Champions, So they lost the titles almost as quickly as they won them. So we're going to play hot potato here with those titles
yes,
again coming up. So. But why did the Undertaker leave? I don't know that we ever found out, do we?
Dude, if any of you guys have answers out there, maybe this was one of these things that got dropped because of Undertaker's injuries and Undertaker leaving. But yeah, they teased this as some sort of mystery and never gets resolved right there. So throw this in there with who raised the briefcase, who is the Hummer driver, who did GTV, because we're not going to get any answers for this. Sorry, folks. But That'll just take us
Who
to
kidnapped Samoa Joe?
Oh God!
Sorry.
Who beat up Hideo Itami?
Very true. Very true.
Oh man!
So many.
So September 2nd, 1999, SmackDown episode number 3, right here.
They call it 2 on the network.
Okay,
But technically
Yeah,
it's 3.
yeah.
But yeah, the very first one they just call SmackDown Pilots.
Yeah,
They start numbering them 1 last week's, and then this week is 2. Yeah.
Okay.
SmackDown 2.
So the Big Show comes out. He's frustrated. he's so frustrated. He's torn the sleeves off his polo shirt, man.
Yes.
Looking good.
He's looking jacked, man. Big Show comes out. He talks about he's angry about what happened Monday, being left alone. He's heard a lot about tough love, and Taker's trying to give him tough love. And he says, let me tell you something, you ink sack carcass of dead meat. I've had enough of you, he says. I don't know what an ink sack carcass of dead meat is, but I think that was just off the top of his mind. So I have no idea where he's coming from with that. But he says, bring yourself down here. And instead, we get Paul Bearer.
Well. That's not The Undertaker. That's Paul Bearer. How dare you stand in that ring and talk to The Undertaker in that manner?
We left you alone, and you cost us the WWF Tag Team Championship. There's something you must have forgot. You better remember that The Undertaker created you and can destroy you. Paul Bearer says all that to Big Show, and so Big Show responds with a super kick to Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Super kick party.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Gives him that super kick and starts about to go off on him, and then we get Taker's music hitting. Okay, because Big Show goes, I don't want the messenger, I want the man. So Taker's music hits, he comes out. Pretty much he and Show are staring a hole through each other, and he gets in the ring, kind of looks at Paul Bearer on the floor, walks over him, grabs a microphone for some reason, then he leans in and whispers something in Big Show's ear. So Show looks really confused, and Taker goes, now that being said, you did a good number on Paul there. And then he winds up wrapping his hand around Big Show's throat and says, I'm going to choke you with your own tongue if you disrespect me again. So he's just taking it to a whole other level.
Man, they're always great. And so, yeah, Undertaker and Big Show, they just kind of look disgustedly at Paul and walk over him in the ring and leave. Undertaker leaves. Yeah. Big Show falls in behind. They leave Paul Bearer behind. And that's going to be the last we see of Paul Bearer for a while, at least for this episode and going into the future. That's the last we're going to hear of him.
Yeah, for a little bit. Absolutely. And like you said, that Taker and Show go out, and X-Pac and Kane are backstage later on, and X-Pac basically says, if you get involved, we're over as a team. Like, I need to know I can trust you. If you get involved, we're over as a team. So, of course, we got X-Pac versus Jericho, and Big Show interferes. Causing a DQ, and then Big Show chokeslams X-Pac, goes to chokeslam him, but Kane comes out and stops it, and Taker comes down the ramp and goes, he'll have his day, and he basically calls Big Show off. So again, he's kind of like Big Show's handler, he sends him on his missions and calls him off when he needs to, reins him in. So he says the weaker the X-Pac becomes, the weaker Kane becomes, and you're becoming more vulnerable, and then he and Show leave the ramp. So again, we're getting back into this Kane stuff as well. Dude, he's kind of like he loved him for a while, then he hated him, and they won the tag titles from him. Now he's kind of looking out for him again. I don't know.
They just can't help themselves with Undertaker and Kane stuff. They are like magnetic ends that just keep coming back towards each other, no matter what.
I know.
Anyway, that's going to be it for that episode of SmackDown. Goes into Raw, episode 328 on September 6th, 1999. The Rock and Sock are going to defend their tag team titles against X-Pac and Kane, but X-Pac doesn't show up here. He's, I guess, still frustrated with this whole relationship with Kane. It's starting to fall apart. So all of a sudden, Triple H shows up, and he's going to be Kane's partner out of nowhere. But, of course, that's all just a plan for Triple H to hit Kane with a sledgehammer, and then... do his thing. And then Show and Taker come out. They're looking like bouncers from the strip club down the street, dude. Taker looks exactly like he's going to during this Bike Taker run. He's got black jeans, black cutoff shirt, black bandana, boots, braided ponytail. it's pretty clear that they were going towards this direction with his character, even if he hadn't gotten
Had to
injured.
be. Had to be, man. Like you speculated last week, this had to be where they were headed no matter what. Because all this, just the way he looks, man. Like when he wrestles in a match, he has his wrestling gear on. But when he's not, he looks just like the Biker Taker, man. Like it's just crazy. So, yeah, like you said, they come out and basically stand over Kane and kind of save him. So, where's this all headed? We don't really know. Are they going to kind of recruit him to their little discipleship, ministry type thing they have going on here with Vidian and Big Show and Paul Bearer? I guess they're down at recruit now that Bearer is gone. So
that's true. Yeah.
But that's not the last we see of Big Show this night, because we get a return of good old GTV.
This was the highlight of the show for me, of this week's episode. I know yours comes during the Coliseum video portion. This was it for me, because Big Show and Val Venus are shown on GTV at the urinal. So we got cameras in the bathroom, and Val strolls up next to Big Show and makes fun of his unit, if you will. Says, "Are you really the Big Show?" I guess not. And so Big Show knocks him out in the bathroom for that.
Yes.
Val,
leaves him for dead. Val is out.
Val, of course, not going to take that lay-in. He comes out, challenges Big Show to take their fight out of the washroom into the ring. And Big Show and Undertaker, we cut backstage to see them watching the monitor backstage. And Taker delivers maybe my favorite line of the past 62 episodes.
You gonna pick that up? What? That punk card Val Venus just gave you. Punk? Oh, come on, man. Oh, hell, he ain't gonna do that.
What a line, dude.
It's like a joke.
Yeah.
Now Taker's telling jokes, He's got
Pick up that punk card Val Venus just threw you.
Which apparently was something, because it sets Big Show off. Like he's like, ugh, like he's disgusted. Like,
oh yeah,
he got served this line. He's got burned by Taker like that. He's like, oh fine. He goes out there to take.
Oh yeah, you
so
can't leave a punk card on the ground.
No, man. It's like a triple dog dare you. You can't beat that. So can't triple stamp or double stamp anything, man. You got to go with it. This is it. Someone throws a punk card at your feet, you got to pick that up. Got to pick it up.
We need to start selling punk cards on our
sure, man.
T-Public store. Just
Talking Taker punk card.
Yeah, you throw that down at people. You want to challenge them.
Exactly.
Throw that punk card down on the ground.
Throw it at them. What is that? It's a punk card. What year is it?
You gonna pick it up? Is he supposed to give it back to him? What is he supposed to do?
I don't know. How do you return it? Is it like a video rental? Do you get it for several days? I don't understand. Yeah.
Or is it a punch
card? If any of
card?
You know, yeah, you get punches on it. It's like a frequent flyer thing. Like you get rewards when you have got 5 punk cards. I don't know. So, but in all seriousness, that killer instinct kind of emerges from Big Show, because he takes it to Venus here in this match and wins. I mean, Venus gives him a lot, but he wins with a choke slam. So again, it's just a random thrown in. Val Venus had nothing to do with the storyline, but I love it just because it gives us that punk card line. So it's good stuff.
It was great. Undertaker and Big Show are going to be interviewed backstage by investigative journalist Michael Cole, who asks them about Kane, about what's going on with them, and Undertaker revokes Michael Cole's interviewing privileges at this point.
Thank God.
Tells him to get lost.
Probably for a shoot, too.
Oh, yeah, and they keep referencing it every time Michael Cole tries to interview him after this. It's just like, he starts to interview him, and Undertaker will just glare at him, and Michael Cole puts his head down and walks away. It's hilarious.
Oh. So yeah, they Taker says that they're going to exercise their right to a rematch and challenge Rock and Mankind in a buried alive tag team title match on SmackDown. So a buried alive. So let's remember that's buried, because Big Show obviously has a little hard of hearing.
Big Show. I don't know what was going on with this promo. Big Show asked Undertaker, or he's. Big Show thought Undertaker said a burrowed alive match, so he threatens
Gopher.
he threatens to burrow Mankind's head up the Rock's butt, which is a match I would have loved to have seen.
Big Show Taker looks at him like, "You idiot!" Like, and he corrects it too. He's like, "Not burrowed, it's buried." Like, it's so good.
Who wrote that?
This is not a pre-tape. You can tell this was a live shot. Like, it's so good. Speaking of burrow, I'm gonna burrow his head and butt. It's buried alive. Oh man,
I would have loved to see
odd.
that.
So weird. But and so something I wanted to say is that what I mentioned at the beginning of this episode was that something that Rock says. So later on, we get Rock and Mankind accepting this challenge in a way that only they can. You know, they mock the Big Show with a and Rock even mocks Taker, and he does an eye roll and he goes, "Die, die, die," which is just great. But then he says this. He goes,
Undertaker, you come on down. Die, die, die. And all that stupid crap over and over and over again. The Rock says this. He has said it before. He will say it again. When you live by the dirt, you die by the shovel.
when has he ever said that? When you live by the dirt, you die by the shovel? What does that even mean? Like,
It means we're about to have a new T-shirt for sale.
hey, dude, we got all kind of merch going out.
Yeah, we got so
we got
much.
punk cards.
Punk cards available now.
Live by the dirt, you die by the shovel.
I mean, that's a good adage to live by. Makes sense to me.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Does that mean like gophers, like they like burrowing in the dirt, and then like the farmer McGregor comes after them with the shovel and kills? I don't know what that means.
I think you summed it up
Anyway,
right there.
I'm looking
That's
far
it
too
right
into.
there. Farmer McGregor. Is
Dude, from
that
Peter
Connor's
Rabbit.
dad? Oh.
Freaking gophers. That's not even Scottish. Anyway, it's
Skyrish.
Scotch Irish.
Okay.
I don't know what he is, but he's a good pro wrestler, though. Conor McGregor is. He puts on a good show.
Great
on
worker.
UFC.
Terrible quarterback, but a great. Did you see him trying to throw a football at the Cowboys game?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
terrible, man. So bad.
Whew,
But
okay.
he's a great sports entertainer. So, but anyway, that brings us to SmackDown 3, which is on 9/9/99. So September 9th, 1999.
Dude, I tell you
This
what, I
is
was
the Kane
watching
show,
this
brother.
night. I was watching
What?
the MTV Video Music Awards this night. I remember,
Ooh,
like, it's
I
ingrained
probably
in my
watched too.
brain. That was their advertising. Was 9/9/99. Like,
Oh man,
that's like the.
I forgot that.
I don't know why. That's just like I can't remember. Anything I learned in Spanish class I took for 4 years in college, but I remember that the 1999 Video Music Awards were on 9/9/99. So power
Dude,
of
I forgot
advertising,
about that.
people. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, like you said, Kane is all over the show. Starts off with Triple H and China ambushing Kane in the parking lot, but Undertaker and Big Show make the save. I have no idea what's going on with all this, but they're continuing to kind of tease some sort of strange relationship between the two of them,
Yep.
or the three of them.
Yeah. Later on, throughout the night, we get Kane pouring gasoline on Triple H's car, on Triple H, on China. X-Pac also breaks up with Kane, lets him go on to bigger and better things. They actually had like an actual breakup. So, while Big Show and Undertaker kind of look on backstage, kind of like, yeah, we got him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, their plan's coming to fruition. So, that's kind of how that's going. So, and then we see Rock and Sock cutting a promo. And, dude, I can't even. This is so good. It was so good.
Buried alive. Buried alive.
So good. He's getting a little bit of this dude loveisms out there. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, man. It's I forgot how so entertaining these guys were, man.
Mankind is hilarious. He can't. I mean, his wrestling is. He's definitely reaching the end of his effectiveness in the ring, but he's amping it up with some comedy out here.
Oh yeah, and I don't know how he even wrestled the night after this night, because we're going to talk about this buried alive match. I have no idea how he put on a pair of boots the next day. So
yeah. Real quick, Triple H defeated Kane. He goes to attack him
Yep.
with a sledgehammer, but Undertaker and Big Show make the save, and Kane is confused. He just gets back up and just backs away from them, doesn't understand what's going on with that. So that takes us to the main event, the first ever tag team Buried Alive match, or first ever Buried Alive match on television right here. So, yeah, this one is wild.
Yeah, it's again, Michael Cole talks about that cold, wet dirt and that 6 foot deep grave, which we basically debunked the 6 foot deep grave on our actual Buried Alive match. But I do want to mention something. If that thing's 6 foot, then Big Show is 12 feet tall. When he gets in it, it's up to his waist. He's a 12-foot this monster. Like anyway, but yeah, Mankind comes out first, and he gets the boots put to him as Brock basically steals out of Austin's playbook and does the old late to the tag title match arrival. So, yeah, then he does come out eventually.
Rock and Mankind kind of double team Big Show here with a shovel. Live by the dirt, die by the shovel. And they they start the burial process. Undertaker makes the save, and then we get the spot that you've all seen this one. This is a match where tons of GIFs and memes and all sorts of stuff have been produced over the years, and this is one of them. Man, Big Show and Mankind are standing on the stage, on like the SmackDown stage, and the grave site is off to the side, off the stage. And Big Show just hurls Mankind off the stage. I assume he was trying to hurl him into the grave itself, but Mankind lands about 2 feet short, just onto the grass or dirt or whatever pile.
Just concrete with a little bit of grass on it.
Oh my gosh, the most sickening thud before he rolls into the grave. It is one of the nastiest bumps we've seen Mankind take, and we've seen him take quite a few over the course of this show.
Yeah, it was just, man, it was like a thud. I have no idea how he walks after that, man. Like, it hurts my hip just watching him take that bump. And in fact, I was just telling you that WWE just put out like a top 5 moments you don't remember from SmackDown, and that was one of them on it. And in celebration of SmackDown 1000, like, I was like, dude, like, it hurts to watch him take these bumps, man. Like, there's no wonder he retired. "Quote unquote" retired several months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't stop him because he gives Socko to Big Show from the grave. Yeah. And we get a grave cam sighting. And we get the little GoPro before there was a GoPro. And we get the grave cam sighting here, which is good. And Big Show gets dropped in the grave, and Mankind starts shoveling dirt on him.
Dude, shouldn't that have been the win? Right there? I mean, from the other Buried Alive matches we've seen, you don't literally have to put 6 feet of dirt on them. And as we're going to see with the actual finish, I mean, I swear Mankind shovels more dirt on Big Show here than what we're going to see in the actual finish. I don't know, man. It's kind of a logic gap right here.
Yeah, you're right. It really is. And because, Taker and Rocker disappear. They're kind of fighting backstage. And at this point, Triple H comes out. And wait a minute, Triple H comes out, kind of blindsides the Rock, and Kane comes in and fights him off, and then China comes out and hits Kane with a chair. So we got all those folks involved in this same storyline here, and Taker comes back out to the ringside and to the grave area, and he and Big Show are double teaming Mankind, but Mankind kind of keeps fighting out of it. So.
Yeah, again, they're hiding Undertaker's weaknesses here as he spends a lot of the match backstage, not really doing anything, and he's still, not taking a lot of bumps, not doing a lot of moves here. But Undertaker and Big Show, like you said, double team Mankind. He keeps trying to fight out of the grave. Big Show smothers Mankind into the grave. Taker orders him to start shoveling dirt onto the grave. Hunter comes out again. Like, I think we just said that though.
No, Hunter.
He came out again?
Yeah, Hunter's in the backstage. Yeah, Hunter was backstage earlier, and when Kane fights him off, and then China hits him. And now Hunter comes back out. Yeah, it is confusing. There's so many people involved here. So Hunter comes back out and then gives us a meme that will live in infamy as well, because he starts shoveling dirt onto Mankind.
Yep. If you're wondering where that came from, it's right here. We've all seen it before.
Yeah, he buries Mankind, and apparently it's enough dirt for Earl Hebner to call the match.
Dude, what the heck, man? Mankind definitely threw way more dirt on Big Show than Triple H does
Yes.
here before they call for the bell. But yeah, The Undertaker and Big Show are tag team champions again, all thanks to Triple
Two-time.
H. Yeah,
Two-time, yeah.
I had honestly forgotten that they held the belts twice here during this little period.
Yeah, me too.
The winners of this match and new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, The Big Show and The Undertaker.
That's not the end of the show,
That's
though.
not- No. We got an ambulance backing up, I guess, to take out a deceased Mankind, maybe, because he's buried alive. So, ambulance back up. Hunter goes to open the door. But for his trouble, he gets some double birds and a clothesline from a returning Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Hey-o.
who's been MIA for about, 18 days now or something like that? 10 days or
Since
something like that?
SummerSlam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's been out of the loop here. And it's kind of weird with not seeing him on the show. But honestly, everybody else is playing such a big role that it's okay. But he comes back here, beats the crap out of Triple H, takes him backstage, and commandeers an 18-wheeler. smashes the ambulance multiple times.
Yep.
So, Yep.
Rest in peace, Triple H.
yeah. Oh.
So Triple H left for dead. That's going to take us. We'll get through these last few weeks of this run right here, coming towards the end, circling the drain for this period for The Undertaker. On Raw, episode 329, September 13th, 1999, The Undertaker is going to be backstage, again, in his full biker gear
Yes.
that we've seen here, talking with Big Show, Vidian in the background, Kane is pacing
Yeah.
around. Yeah. It's a new ministry, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much same as the old one.
Pretty much the same.
Mankind's walking backstage looking for Hunter. Rock's backstage looking for Hunter. All these guys are intersecting with each other, and that's going to lead
Yes.
to Linda McMahon, of all people, making a 5-way match between Rock, Mankind, Kane, Undertaker, and Big Show, contested under Royal Rumble rules tonight, and the winner is going to become number one contender for Triple H's title at Unforgiven.
Yeah, so that's a big match, man. There's 5 big names right there, and they're going to have a Royal Rumble style match, like you said. And but the question is, who is the champion going to be? So she makes Hunter aware that if Austin wants to tonight, when he gets there, he can have his contractual rematch. So that's going to play into it. And Hunter comes out with a police escort. And he and China assault the Stooges, and he talks smack to what would be his future mother-in-law and threatens physical harm upon her. So, and Vince McMahon's a-hole chant now goes from Vince to Hunter. So
Yeah.
he gets the heat that Vince used to get. And it's just weird seeing him threaten to beat up his future mother-in-law. Oh.
Wrestling is so weird.
Yes. So basically, everybody in that 5-way comes out and kind of get. Was supposed to get held off by the police escort, but they all wind up making it in the ring. It's like kind of a Pier 6 brawl, and it ends up with the Rock and Sock Connection standing in the ring alone. So just them two. So
Then we get a promo from Undertaker and Big Show again, like I said, with Michael Cole, who's sheepishly admits he's lost his interviewing privileges and walks away. So Undertaker has 2 incredible lines here saying... Number 1, that Triple H is so much of an endangered species that even a crocodile hunter can't find him. So, timely.
dude, I missed this promo.
Oh, yeah, you got to go watch this. But then he says, Undertaker says, I'm going to be all over Rock and Mankind like the leopard pants on the girl in the front row's butt. And then walks away.
This is the Undertaker I want.
Me too, dude.
This guy is insane.
I don't know if Sarah was sitting in the front row, if this is where they first connected with each other, dude. This is something, man. Something was going on with the girl in the front row.
Yeah, well, I guess when he came out to ringside earlier for that melee, I guess he noticed her pants.
Dude, I'm going to have to go back and look for those pants.
Oh, man.
He's into her as much as Ben Stiller was into Deborah.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Oh man. Well, that brings us to that 5-way match, and it's fun. I guess you could say it's Big Show and Taker come out, and Mankind is next, and
Oh,
Taker
I'm
immediately
sorry.
attacks him.
I said this one was under the Royal Rumble rules. That I got ahead of myself. That one's on
Oh,
SmackDown.
you're right. This one didn't.
Yeah.
That's later on. Oh yeah. Apologies, guys, but that does come later on. But this is the 5-way. So, they come out, Taker and Show, and they start beating up Mankind, and then Show actually goes for a pin on Taker, but or excuse me, a pin on Mankind, but Taker pushes him off because he wants to be the champion. So then Rock comes out and he evens odds. Kane's out next. So during all this match taking place, Vidian make their way to ringside. And I just want to say there's a beach ball in the audience, even back here in 1999. So
Wow.
even though you got all 5 of these guys and then these Vidian jabrones on the outside, there was a beach ball being thrown around. So I don't know what more you could have wanted out of the show. I guess they were just waiting for Austin. So who knows?
Maybe so. Well, the gimmick for this whole match is that it's going to break down into a crazy brawl. Taker is going to punch out
Yeah.
the referee as he's almost counting a 3 count for Mankind. So pretty much every referee is going to run out and then get beaten up by these 5 guys. All the officials like Sergeant Slaughter, Tony Gurria, Dave Hebner, all these guys are going to run out and all get attacked by the 5 guys in the ring. It's just craziness. No one can control it. Finally, Earl Hebner comes out and he's about to get in the ring and just
This is great.
throws his hands up and walks away from it. So that's all going to lead into something. Yeah.
Forget about it. he's not dealing with it.
That's all going to lead to something we find out about on SmackDown. And then just everyone comes out to end the show.
Dude.
Or not end the show, but just to end this, just a giant brawl with everybody.
Yeah, Godfather, Crash, Prince Albert, Chaz, Stevie Richards, and then everybody else, and it's just a melee, and it's awesome. So basically nobody wins this 5-way match. Which again, back in '99, a 5-way match was like killer, man. Like you didn't see much talent in the ring. Nowadays, you see him literally every Monday or Tuesday, but back then you didn't. So, but the main event segment is Vince coming back and basically getting in Triple H's face and saying, I wouldn't interfere in business, but this is personal because you put your hands on Linda. And Austin returns from jail and comes back, and they have a match that Austin gets DQ'd out of. I just want to mention that because, again, Taker is supposed to be building toward this, WWF title match at Unforgiven. So I just wanted to leave that in there for those of you who don't remember what's going on then. So that brings us to SmackDown.
Episode number 4, 5, whatever you want to call it, somewhere in there. September 16th, 1999. And like I said, the stuff from Monday night is leading to the referees of the WWF being on strike. That is the storyline going in to Unforgiven. I definitely remember this one. It's creative. It's something different. And it's I guess this is the Dying Days, maybe the final episode written by Vince Russo, one of these final few. And he's even given the referees something to do, giving them a storyline.
Yeah.
And it's going to lead into some other things unraveling, but kind of unique.
Sure. Was this when the baseball strike was going on with the refs and stuff back then? I can't remember.
There was probably some sports league on strike at this point.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm sure it was ripped from that. And it's going to lead to some
the headlines.
Interesting scab referees that we're going to see come into play here.
Oh, yes. Well, speaking of ripped from the headlines, on WWF.com, in between Monday's Raw and this SmackDown, they announced it would be a 6-pack challenge at Unforgiven with Triple H defending versus Big Show, Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, and The Rock. And I just remember being so excited about this match, man. Not what it eventually becomes, but what this match right here is. Man, this is stacked, dude. That's freaking stacked, man. That's your entire main event scene was minus Steve Austin in one match. Like, that's awesome. So,
yeah, that's huge, especially for a not a major show.
Yeah, pay-per-view.
For Unforgiven here. And they're definitely trying to make it feel that, like, this is the time where they've dropped the In Your House name, so they're trying to make these off-month pay-per-views, whatever you want to call them, bigger deals. And that's one way to do it, man. Stack everybody up in this one match.
Well, the fact they announced it on WWF.com I thought was kind of neat, too, because, they I don't know. It just shows they were using. I guess you wouldn't call it social media, but whatever. They use the internet to kind of further their feuds. But I just thought that was kind of neat because I was watching this episode. I was like, when did they announce the 6-pack? Well, then I had to rewind it, and you heard Michael Cole say, on WWF.com earlier this week. So
Yeah,
good for them.
They were ahead of the
yeah.
times for sure.
Yeah. So not with old Tout. So
Well, they were ahead of it, but we're still behind them.
oh, are we?
Yeah.
We're waiting to catch up.
Still waiting to catch up.
That went over like a fart in church, man. That was terrible. So
we've got a 5-man,
ahead.
that Royal Rumble rules match. I was saying earlier, that takes place here on SmackDown with these 6-pack challenge competitors, Taker, Kane, Rock, Big Show, and Mankind. And, dude, the referees for this match are Jim Dotson, the guy who's the head of security for WWF for all those years, and Mark Yeaton, the timekeeper. They're the ones in referee shirts on the outside filling in because they're on strike, man. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You'll never see anywhere else.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. And for those of you who recognize Mark Eaton's name, he's the guy that throws Austin his beers at the end of his every episode of Raw and probably SmackDown from now on. So, it's just weird to see them in that and cool. But basically, Taker, so I think it's the first people in there are Rock and Big Show starting out. Mankind comes out third. Kane comes out fourth. Taker's last, and he comes out and goes straight to the commentary table. But why don't you give us a little insight into what he's wearing, what he's sporting from the Local 81 this evening? Fresh off the racks at the Local 81.
Dude, he's got T-shirt, jeans, bandana on. This is the first time we've seen him come out to compete in these biker clothes.
Right.
Because he's supposed to be in this match. And the most interesting thing was these sunglasses that he's got on. He looks like those night vision glasses they advertise on TV, HD vision, just like yellow see-through lenses. I believe you compared him to Elton John.
Maybe he was listening to Crocodile Rock since he was talking about Crocodile Hunter.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
He prophesied something. Actually, he's a terrible prophet. Go tell us what he says.
You say. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Oh, okay. He's on commentary and he's like putting over how Kane is a killer and now that he's dropped X-Pac and he's so great and Kane is really getting that killer instinct. Kane's immediately eliminated upon him saying that.
That's great.
It's just, as it comes out of his mouth, Kane is eliminated. So Mankind's eliminated. Big Show chokeslams the Rock. Then Taker slides into the match and knocks Big Show and Rock over the top rope to win the match. So man.
Undertaker again wins a match without doing anything here, protecting him, letting him try to heal up from all these injuries, and it's supposed to be leading to Undertaker facing Triple H for the title in a one-on-one match later on here on SmackDown, but that's not going to happen. Big Show gets in Undertaker's face, upset over what's going on, but Vidian play the Peacemakers. They get in between them, trying to keep this new ministry together. Rock grabs a chair, nails Vidian, but Big Show, again with the super kick, with the chair into Rock. And this new ministry assaults the Rock as Undertaker feeds out instructions, and again, looking like an unstoppable force here. And that's why Triple H is going to refuse to fight Undertaker later on in the night.
Yes, he does. He refuses to fight him, and instead he fights Vince McMahon with special referee Shane McMahon. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, on the 4th episode of SmackDown ever, the main event is 53-year-old Vince McMahon and Triple H for the world title. And who wins? But the chairman. Vince McMahon becomes the WWF champion with the help of Stone Cold Steve Austin, of course. He comes out there and gives him a hand, but I just got to say, man, again, people talk about Russo killed WCW, he put the title on himself, yada, yada. Well, he also put the title on Vince right here,
Right.
And so, he wasn't the first to do it for himself. Vince wins the title right here, and he's not going to hold it but for a cup of coffee here. But still, it just gets conveniently forgotten in WWF history because they won the war that Vince was a champion for several days. So,
and they were
also an ECW champion.
He was. Never held the WCW title, but yeah, two-time world champion. I remember SmackDown was taped on Tuesday, didn't air till Thursday, but for this one, speaking of WWF.com, they put these results on WWF.com as soon as it happened. They were like, the World Wrestling Federation title changed hands tonight. Vince McMahon, that sort of stuff. So that was pretty rare for them back then to spoil things on their own website right there. But they wanted to get the news out about the new champion. And yeah, it's something else, man. I will say, watching it now, I don't care as much. Like, I don't get upset about it as much. And it actually, for what it is, they do a pretty logical job of making it happen. And there's so much interference. And it is Triple H getting this comeuppance after months of stuff with him and McMahon. I get why they did it. And I can buy into it and get into it. But it is ridiculous on the surface.
Yeah, well, it's like I was telling you last week, like Russo's thing, it's just a prop. No one, it's a fake fight. No one wins. No one loses. Like, you get written to be the champion. So that's how he views it. Right or wrong, that's how he views it. And so it's definitely a prop here to further this story. It doesn't, Vince is not like celebrated as a fighting champion or anything, but like it plays a part in the storyline. So yeah, it's definitely a prop to Russo. And, here we go. It leads us to Raw 330 on September 20th, 1999, where it's Vince McMahon is going to open up the show and relinquish that title. So
that's right. He's prohibited from getting involved in the day-to-day activities due to what happened at Fully Loaded, thanks to Undertaker losing that match for him. Basically, this is all a long 20, 30-minute promo getting Vince to be reinstated back into the company, Hunter put into the six-pack challenge. The six-pack challenge is going to be for the vacant title now, and Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to face the winner at a later date. So there's a summation.
That sums it all up.
20 minutes of talking right there.
The
fun stuff happens because we see Mankind hanging out in his favorite spot in the boiler room, and then we see Undertaker and Vidian and Big Show all talking, and Mideon has on some fancy new duds here, man. This is a great look for him.
I could not remember this for the life of me, man. I could not remember this outfit. And then it's definitely a different look for him, and I seem like I remember hearing something about it, and it came back in my memory, and I think because of something that happened with you.
Well, it's not the airbrush shirt. It's like this, like, he's definitely spent a lot of money on this outfit.
Yeah.
And back, I don't know what year it was, maybe a couple years after this, but WWF had their own auction site. Actually, I think they still do have it. But I used to get on there all the time. I thought it was fun. They would put, chairs and autographs and props and all sort of stuff on there that you could, try to win. And, dude, I guess I was working at the video store or something. It's like 17, 18 years old, had disposable income, whatever, didn't care what I spent my money on. And I just had it in my mind. I really want to win something on this WWF auction site. I want to have some officially licensed autograph rated memorabilia on there. This Mideon outfit went up for auction on the WWF auction website. And most of the stuff on that site, it got way out of hand, like thousands of dollars you spent on. So obviously, I'm not going to get anything like that. This Mideon outfit, it was hovering around like $100 for most of the time it was on the auction. And I definitely bid on it. I don't remember what my final bid was, like $120 or something like that. I was like, God, dude, I could have Mideon's eyeball outfit. And I think in like the final, 5 minutes of it, it went up to $500 or something like that. But up to, within a few hours, I was the high bidder on this Mideon outfit. And I was just moments away from owning it and being able to wear it here for this episode of the podcast. But I've been meaning to talk about that one of these episodes. I keep putting it in my notes, but yeah, there we go. Almost owned Mideon's fancy new attire.
What could have been, man? Yeah. What could have been? Did they call it WWE eBay?
They should have. They should call the new one.
Well, they should call it that now. Yeah. WWE eBay. So if you're listening out there, you can use that. It's okay. So yeah, man, these got these fancy new duds. They could have been won by Alex Dorio. Man, what a shame that is. You could have had these, man. Maybe he would actually come on our show since you emailed him and he hadn't answered yet.
I tried to reach out to Dennis Knight. Still got an open
Like
invitation.
for real, we really want to talk to him. It's
Yeah.
not make fun of him. We really want to talk to him.
It'd be great.
And, yeah. Anyway, he goes in, or Undertaker sends Mideon into the boiler room to take one of the opponents out, and Mankind kind of starts beating him up, and then Viscera comes in as well, and then Taker sends Big Show in there as well, and then we see a recap during the break. They all kind of lay the boots to Mankind, and Rock makes the save. So, Rock's kind of reciprocating that favor, reciprocating that friendship with Mankind. It's kind of been one-sided. Rock teams with him, but he never, puts his, extends the olive branch at first. But here he is. He's kind of, so they're building that story of their friendship there. So.
And they're going to challenge Big Show and Undertaker to a rematch here for the tag team titles. Rock and Sock against Big Show and Taker yet again. Undertaker and Big Show respond, being interviewed by our investigative journalist Michael Cole. And Undertaker, again, digging back into that well that you mentioned earlier. He tells Rock he should get those TV writers that work for him to write him a eulogy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, he's cutting deep. Like, there's some underlying stuff in here, man. You tell
sure.
that was, I don't know, man. That was something under Undertaker's crawl about Rock's promos and his comedy that he's doing out there. But he says he needs to write a eulogy because they're accepting their challenge for a Dark Side Rules match. What the heck
Star
is that?
Wars. There we go. Told you he's the Emperor Palpatine.
I guess
or he's a Sith Lord, Dark Side Rules match. Yeah, what? I got no idea. Commentators don't know what that is, but I would like to add that to our list of signature matches that Undertaker has. We got Buried Alive. We've got Dark Side Rules. We got Casket. We got Coffin. We got golly, what was it?
Rest in Peace.
Gold Dust. Oh, yeah,
Final
Rest
Curtain.
in Peace. Final Curtain. Yeah, man. So
unfortunately, it's basically like one of those last few ones that we talked about. It's not going to be anything exciting here, folks. Mankind and Rock are going to make their way to the ring. We see Big Show coming out backstage. He's in street clothes. I don't know why so many people are wearing street clothes and wrestling in street clothes this past month. Undertaker is seen talking to someone around the corner, and it's Kane, teasing that relationship there down to the end. So, yeah, Mankind and Rock come out, and Rock is in his street clothes, too. No one knew they were going to wrestle tonight, apparently.
Well, Undertaker's the only one that has his gear on. Everybody else, the one guy who can't wrestle really, has his gear on. Everybody else is in their street clothes. Of course, Mankind's street clothes are just his actual clothes that he wrestles in as well. So. Yeah. But yeah, Big Show and Rock have like slacks on still or whatever. It's just weird. So, Mankind and Rock come out separately, like you said, and The Rock basically makes fun of this match, the Dark Side Rules, and he's like...
and then you run your mouth about how The Rock has TV script writers?
Uh-oh. Rock's laying a verbal smackdown on whomever listens. Not a plagiarist.
Obviously, the millions of Rock's fans know that he writes all of his material, but The Rock just did quickly write something real fast. So The Rock says this. Oh, it matters what The Rock says.
Rock's a little sensitive about his material.
It goes like this. The Undertaker, the Phenom who claims to be from hell. Come on down so The Rock could check your candy ass in to the SmackDown Hotel.
And dude, I just gotta say, Rock's got like 1,140 catchphrases, and every single one of them is over. Every one of them is over. The crowd finishes off his sentences. It's phenomenal. So.
Well, he's got all his catchphrases. Undertaker himself has got a plan. As Big Show comes out to wrestle, Undertaker gets on commentary yet again. Tells the commentators that Dark Side Rules means that I never go anywhere without a plan. don't know what that means for the match. So, but we do see Vidian come out, and they hop up on the apron and become Big Show's partners. So as Undertaker reveals that Dark Side Rules means that everyone who believes in the Dark Side can compete in this match. Man, it's too bad we weren't there, dude. We could have jumped up on Undertaker's team. Could have participated in this match.
Could have been 5-on-2. That would have been great, dude.
What a shame.
I wish was anybody else listening backstage? They could have come in this match and become tag team champion or defended the tag
That's
team
right.
titles.
I guess they don't believe in the dark side.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, somebody who doesn't believe is the referee, and his name is Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Yeah. How about
His
that?
hair never changes. It's like from 1981, always.
Oh, it did when he
man.
was Zip in the Body Donnas.
That's true.
Changed it.
That's true. I try to forget that was him.
Yeah,
Bless his
I think he does
heart.
too.
Yeah, bless his heart. So, Taker's throwing some more jabs at Rock on commentary, saying, I can't wait for him to use some new material here and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, he's just egging it on, dude. But the match basically breaks down, and we get Kane comes out, and Taker says, blood's thicker than water. And you see Kane get up on the top rope, and you think he's going to attack, Rock and Mankind, but that's not actually what happens.
No, he clotheslines the Big Show off the top rope, starts beating him up, gets a big reaction. Undertaker is livid on commentary, says he's going to pay for this. Mankind puts the mandible claw on Mideon, and that turns into a rock bottom and do they do the double people's elbow here, I think?
No, I think it's just Rock.
Oh, just Rock. Okay. So The Rock pins Mideon to win the tag team titles from The Undertaker and the Big Show.
Yep. Russo.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can't verify this, but Mideon might be the only person in history to have won a belt without winning it with the European title.
Yeah.
And then also lose a belt that he never even held in the tag team titles.
See, when we started this podcast, did anyone know we were going to talk so much about how big of an impact Mideon has on the wrestling
history making?
I don't know who else has ever won a belt they never held, or held a belt they never won and lost a belt they never held either. So that's crazy. So maybe somebody has in the years since, but up to this point, probably not. So, oh man, good stuff, man. So of course, they lose the tag team titles. Rock and Sock become the 2-time champs, and Taker is not happy, and Show is ticked as well. And Taker's new gang have a meeting on the outside, and they're all upset. And so later on in the show, Taker comes back out, and he calls out Kane, and he's pacing around during his promo. It's really intense, and he's like, Kane, enough is enough. Get down here. Somebody's leaving flat tonight. So I guess that means you're going to be knocked out on your butt. So Kane comes out. Taker says, I want to do what I should have done a long time ago. And then Kane gets attacked by good old Vidian and Big Show. And Viscera poured gasoline on it.
Payback.
Yeah, I should have done this a long time ago. Light you on fire again for like the 5th time. So, oh, man.
Brotherly love right there.
Yeah, man.
Fortunately, Mankind saves us from arson. Hits Undertaker and all these guys with baseball bats. Rock comes out with a baseball bat. That was the weapon of the day right there.
Yes.
But Undertaker slinks away unscathed, but Kane is saved for the time being. So here we go, folks. SmackDown, September 23rd, 1999, episode number 5. The Undertaker's final televised appearance for 8 or 9 months here, up until Judgment Day 2000. This is the end of the Dark Side, Dead Man era of The Undertaker officially right here. And this is also, you might remember this SmackDown as the one where Vince McMahon makes Triple H wrestle 5 different gimmick matches in one night.
Yeah.
He's going to have to face a Big Show in a chokeslam match, Kane in an Inferno match, Mankind in a Boiler Room match, Rock in a Brahma Bull Rope match, and Undertaker in a casket match. And Triple H has to win 3 out of those 5 in order to keep his spot in the 6-pack challenge.
Which, isn't that like a... Vince is a babyface at this point, and he's making his heel run to this. Like, shouldn't it be the other way around? You want your babyface to run? But it does tell a good story. But I'm armchair quarterbacking here, but just in a perfect world, you'd have your babyface doing this kind of stuff, to get to overcome it. But I guess they're kind of switching roles here, and Vince is kind of the babyface, and he's basically Austin, and Hunter is Vince. So it's weird.
It's true.
So, yeah, it's weird. The chokeslam match, the Big Show starts immediately, and Big Show beats him because he chokeslams him first, and so Hunter is 0-1 for the first of those 5 matches. So
he is able to win the Inferno match, though, because Kane hops out of the ring because a bloody and just the limp, dead, bloody body of X-Pac is thrown on the top of the rampway. Apparently, he's been
Yeah.
attacked by Undertaker and Vivian backstage. So Kane jumps out of the ring and onto Vivian, who run after him, but they throw his hand into the fire. So Kane loses yet another Inferno match. 0-3, I believe.
I know. He's so bad at these. Quit being in them. Oh, but yeah, he rushes up to X-Pac and Taker leaves to the back, and so yeah, Triple H is 1-1 for those keeping score. So
And
then we see Kane. Yeah, we see Kane tending to X-Pac backstage, and he's hitting lockers, and he's ticked off. So
And that's apparently going to be enough for The Undertaker. He thinks he's done enough here. He tells the minions that he's pleased with their work. Now it's time to venture off into the night. So he's kind of Undertaker, like he's in the biker outfit. He's morphed from this cult leader into like a biker gang leader,
Yeah.
basically having these guys do his bidding. But investigative journalist Lillian Garcia is backstage at this point and tells Undertaker, "You can't leave yet. Mr. McMahon ordered you to compete tonight." And Taker says, "Well, no one orders me to do anything. There's not going to be a casket match here tonight. I'm done."
yeah, he's just calling his own shots here, apparently. So then, of course, Vince walks up and says, if you don't participate in this casket match, you're going to forfeit your spot in the six-pack challenge on Sunday. And Taker says,
You know what? Maybe I won't be participating in anything around here. You deal with that.
and he just walks off. So completely like unprovoked, nothing, no reason. Why would he want to give up his spot in the six-pack challenge? But yeah, I guess he's just had enough, and enough's enough, and it's time for a change. So he just walks off, and that is the last we'll see of him until Judgment Day in May of 2000. So
After 9 years, the initial run of The Undertaker goes out with "deal with that" as he walks away here.
deal with that. Yeah.
Apparently, his injuries had just become too much for him to deal with. He's not healing up at the rate he wants to heal up. He's going to go away for a little while. Not as long as or longer than he initially expected, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But yeah, they're going to write him off and try to do something else. But they are, just to put a bow on it, Vivian is going to take Undertaker's place in the casket match, turn into a handicap casket match against Triple H. And Cole, he says your favorite line here, buddy. China comes out to interfere, and he says, "Here comes the cavalry."
Dude, you'll never not hear it now that I pointed out to
You're
you.
right.
You'll never not hear it. It's literally every time. It's so obnoxious. I can't stand this. Yeah, here comes the cavalry. Like, no, it doesn't. So, yeah, anyway, so they best Triple H there. He's 1-2. Triple H does beat Mankind in the Boiler Room Brawl. He's 2-2. And then, backstage, the British Bulldog gets to take Undertaker's spot in the six-pack challenge. He gets I guess he talks to Vince, I think it was, and he gets to take a spot. And so he's also going to be the referee for the Brahma Bull Rope match. And he apparently decides to turn heel on Rock, and that's how Triple H wins. And so that's how this ends. And that's what I was saying earlier. I remember loving the six-pack challenge. And then once Taker got kicked out and Bulldog got put it in, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I just wasn't as excited at that point. No disrespect to the Bulldog, but he just wasn't the British Bulldog of yore, as they say.
No, he certainly was not. And this was a bit of a downgrade. But, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? So,
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Undertaker does not make it to Unforgiven 1999. We've seen the last of him right here. And that's it. Our 62 episode journey through the first 9 years of his career wraps up right here. And, we'll try to put a bow on it here at the end of the episode after we do the video. Have some things we can try to wrap up here. But he does, just to tell you, to get you to where we're going here a few weeks from now, Undertaker does compete in one house show match during this time as he travels to Puerto Rico in December of 1999. He wrestled a tag team match, teaming up with Viscera, against Kane and The Godfather, of all people, at a
Good Lord.
IWA show, I believe it was, in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
A big Christmas show, December 16th, 1999. Kane and Godfather ended up winning that one. Pat Patterson was the referee, of all things. There are some pictures of it online. I couldn't find any video of it. although YouTube is down tonight, so maybe there is some video I could never find. But our follower, St. Ridley Santos, there is a promo video that Undertaker cuts on The Godfather saying he's going to destroy him and all his slimy hoes.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's calling it in over voicemail, too. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So,
and it's all like Ministry Taker stuff,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And apparently he further aggravated some of his injuries here. He was supposed to allegedly come back possibly for the Royal Rumble in 2000, but screwed things up even more. And so that's why we waited for so long to get to him there. So, yeah, that's the only other appearance that we see of him, although it was not on screen there up until 2000.
Right. Well, that's neat, man. I didn't realize he did that until I saw that our Twitter follower put that video up there, so that was pretty cool. So, yeah, slimy hose. This is something you don't hear. Like I said, I love this version of Undertaker. He's great.
Yeah, just a couple things I wanted to say before we get into that video. Over this course of this run, Undertaker obviously had 3 WWF Championship reigns.
Yeah.
Came in with 175 days total as the champion. Had 3 tag team championship reigns, 1 with Kane, 2 with The Big Show, and 1 with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then 2 with The Big Show for 36 days total as a tag team champion. He competed in 22 pay-per-view main events during this time. So 22 times
There you go.
out of these matches that we covered, he was in the main event of the show, or the match that went on last at least. And winning percentage, I don't know what the percentage was, but he had 38 pay-per-view wins during this time. So better win record than loss record there.
Yeah.
So important thing to note out there. We started out doing the show focusing on the pay-per-view matches, but we've covered so much stuff. There are a couple things that we did kind of gloss over or miss during this run. We didn't really talk about his sort of feud with the Ultimate Warrior too much, but that took up a big chunk of TV time in 1991. There's some cool matches on a Coliseum home videos, them doing body bag matches and stuff. Would have been really neat to see them do that on a pay-per-view, but obviously Ultimate Warrior was insane, so that kind of petered out. Another feud that he had that never made it to pay-per-view was with the Berserker.
Thank God.
There is a really interesting video. I'll post it on our Twitter. They do have one match on Superstars or something where the Berserker, he does a pile driver on Undertaker on the cement, pulls up the ring pad, tries to stab the Undertaker with his sword. It's kind of like the most someone's gotten over on Undertaker at that time in early 92 or something during that time, but never really went anywhere besides some house show stuff. And then we didn't talk too much, but Tito Santana, El Matador, was one of the first people to get a clean win over The Undertaker at a house show in Barcelona, Spain, which you can find on YouTube on October 5th, 1991. Just kind of out of nowhere, rare, clean loss for The Undertaker during that time. But again, that didn't really go anywhere either. Yeah,
it didn't lead to anything, but those are definitely some neat.
Just some footnotes.
What could have been taking it to pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, him and Warrior could have had something special if, storyline-wise, it would have been kind of neat. But we all know, even though, like you said, Warrior's insane, so it might not have paid off like it should have. Like with Hogan Warrior in WCW. I loved the beginning of that build, but then it wound up being a turd.
And the last thing I wanted to say, we didn't really talk about much, but I had to mention here that back in 1993, we got to hear The Undertaker's musical debut on WrestleMania the album as he performed the song The Man in Black on there. And I have to mention that because that album, that cassette tape was in very heavy rotation in my headphones in 1993 and in my mom's car. I made her listen to that, tortured her with that album, but she was a saint and let me listen to this stupid album with wrestlers singing. And maybe stay tuned towards the end of this, and maybe you might get to hear a sneak peek or a little, just some memories of that song if you haven't heard it in a while, folks. It's a gem. Produced by Simon Cowell, of all people.
Are you serious?
He executive produced that 1993 WrestleMania
Wow.
album.
And he's on America's Got Talent, or whatever it's called, the American Idol. Whew, yikes. So yeah, man, I remember that song. That's hilarious. I did not have it on rotation like you did, but I do remember hearing it later on. So that's great, great stuff, man. But if we can move ahead now, I guess, or move ahead and go back to the past, I guess. Take our time traveling hearse back to 1994.
So yeah, we talked about some rare matches that or feuds that didn't quite happen. Let's talk about some matches that many of us maybe have never seen or have never seen in a long, long time. Since we don't have a pay-per-view match to cover, like you said, Travis, let's go back to 1994 to the Coliseum Video Archives, home video classics on the WWE Network. You can find it on there. The Undertaker, the Face of Fear video here. And I incorrectly said last week that this was Undertaker's first video. This was actually his second video. I believe it was a UK exclusive from what I could find online, but it was released July 5th, 1994. His first video is not on the network. Maybe it will be one day. Maybe we'll cover it one day.
Yeah.
But that one came out in 1993.
Yeah, that's his gravest matches. Now, they do recycle some footage and put it from that video and put it on here. But yeah, so his first one was actually the gravest matches. But again, it's not on the network. We can't find it right now. I'm sure it's on somewhere else, but we'll cover that one when we need another bonus episodes. But this is hosted by Paul Bearer from, and I quote, the loading dock at the back of my funeral parlor. What kind of a loading dock do you need? I mean, golly, you're just loading bodies. That's it. It's not. I mean, how much does he need to load on and off there? So.
I mean, you got bodies like Kamala and Yokozuna coming in there.
It's true.
You might need a dock.
It's true. True. Loading dock. I just did not expect to hear that. So.
Well, he's got a collection of The Undertaker's greatest matches here. These are his greatest matches that we're going to see. We're going to kick off with a bombshell right here. Undertaker versus Adam Bomb with Johnny Polo.
Oh, man, I can't get enough Johnny Polo. I love it. His name will come up a little bit later on. I can't wait to talk about him on commentary. But, yeah, this match is filmed on September 28, 93 from the Memorial Auditorium in Worcester, Massachusetts. And it was released on this and WrestleFest 94 Coliseum video. So just a little, for those of you tape traders, tape collectors. So this is back in the gray gloves boot era, back then before we'd gone to purple. So comes out led by Paul Bearer in the urn, which we have not seen in our timeline in a long time.
Dude, what are your feelings on Adam Bomb?
Man, I like Brian Clark as a person. I mean, not as a person, I never met him, but as a kid, I loved Wrath. I loved the Wrath gimmick. I loved him in Chronic. Yeah, I don't know about Adam Bomb. I wasn't watching as much in this point. This part of my career, I wasn't watching as much then. But he definitely has a presence about him, and honestly. I mean, it's a shame he didn't get more over, I guess you could say. But this was kind of in that cartoony, era, of gimmicks. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it seemed like they really invested a lot into that gimmick, almost to Undertaker levels here. It's kind of parallel gimmicks, sort of in a lot of senses. It felt like Adam Bomb could have been the next Undertaker in a lot of ways. I always wondered why he didn't quite get pushed to the moon. But I guess it goes into what we talked about so many times on this podcast. Undertaker is special. He had the it factor. He had something there that so many other people couldn't pull off. And I was just thinking, watching this match, that only watched it for 2 minutes because that's all it lasted.
Right.
But, dude, Undertaker, maybe if the roles had been reversed, maybe we'd be doing an Adam Bomb podcast right now. If the Undertaker had the Adam Bomb gimmick, could he have made that work in the same ways that he's made that Undertaker gimmick work? And I think he probably could have.
Probably could, man. It's crazy to think about, though. But yeah, what if, just little what ifs? What if Undertaker had been given to Brian Clark? Would it still be around? So, but yeah, man, it's great stuff. I love the little kids in the front row with the Undertaker hats and the shirts on. It's so great. Because again, he's debuted as a heel, has turned babyface on, I believe it was Jake Roberts, and in February of '92, And so now he's a good over babyface here. And so, of course, as most of these matches back in these years began, Adam Bomb attacks from behind, just like everyone else did. And he does something interesting here. He throws Taker out through the middle in the top rope, and Taker does not land on his feet, which we had always seen up to this point. But again, this is no pay-per-view match. It's just a special Coliseum video match. So
yeah, rare, not a perfect 10 from The Undertaker here. And really, there's not much to it here. Adam Bomb gets the early heat, I guess, and then Taker comes back with a comeback, hits a chokeslam kind of out of nowhere, and gets the pin right there. No tombstone, just a chokeslam after 2 minutes. And then Johnny Polo hops in the ring, tries to nail Undertaker with his cane, and Undertaker gives him a chokeslam for good measure. Undertaker wants to do more, but Paul Bearer holds him back. And yeah, just remember that here. Undertaker with his first win of the night with a chokeslam. No tombstone.
Yep. No tombstone. He kind of took a lot of punishment here because, like you said, that chokeslam came out of nowhere. But he still looked good, looked strong. Adam Bomb doesn't look terrible, losing to Undertaker. So, yeah, kept them both strong, I guess you could say. So that brings us to our next match. We got Undertaker versus Bam Bam Bigelow. This is also from the Memorial Auditorium in Worcester, Massachusetts. But this is filmed on May 4th, 93. So a couple months after that one we just cut. And this is the one that's also from the Gravest Matches one, because there's this pre-recorded promo beforehand with Undertaker in the graveyard, and he's like,
"Welcome to my Gravest Matches. The action buried in this tape bears a heavy price. A price which I will extract from each and every one of you in your darkest hour. A heavy price indeed."
Dude, that just gave me nightmares hearing that promo. He's going to extract a price from us for watching this video. Not a nice thing to do to your fans, dude.
No, I'd take it out, push eject.
I don't know. Did we mention the last match had the wonderful team of Stan Lane and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary? This match has JR and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary.
Yeah.
A little bit of an improvement there. And you and I both noticed something here. Is you mentioned the hats and T-shirts in the last match. There are so many Undertaker foam urns in the crowd for this match.
Yes.
God, dude, I wish I would have had one of those.
They need to put that on WWE eBay now, or they should remake those. Those would sell.
I looked them up on eBay as I was watching this match, and there was one on sale, and it was for $50, but it looked like my dog ate it. It was all of the words had been scratched off of it. It looked terrible, man. But I would kill for one of those things right now.
Who would you kill?
Maybe
don't answer that.
Stan Lane.
Don't answer that. Well, I think somebody beat you to it.
He's still alive.
Oh well, aim small, miss small. Yeah.
Live by the dirt.
Gets by the shovel, baby. Sorry, I'm coughing. I'm dying here. You said you'd kill somebody for that. So
I want that urn.
Bam Bam comes out first, and then Taker comes out with Paul Bearer in the urn. Man, I love Bam Bam Bigelow, and seeing him here, it's astonishing to remember how long he lasted in the business too, man. Like, he was around forever. So he and Taker go nose to nose, and then Bigelow gets some right hands, and Taker fires back. Excuse me, easy for me to say. And then Taker stops Bigelow with a drop toe hold, which I thought was interesting to see at this point in his career. So
yeah, getting to see him bust out some stuff we didn't really see back then.
Yeah,
man. I mean, this was fun. It was 5 minutes or so. I would kill for a Bam Bam Bigelow this era versus Undertaker 97, 98 era.
Oh,
that
yeah,
would be,
dude.
give them 15 minutes, maybe 12 minutes or something like that. They'd have a heck of a match right there.
Oh, Bam Bam can work, dude. He's one of those big guys that can work. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Vader when he's motivated,
Super underrated.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
Taker goes for a diving clothesline, but Bam Bam ducks. Bam Bam tosses him around on the outside, gets in some offense, but Undertaker keeps sitting up due to the power of the urn. Man, it was good to see that being used.
Yep. It was.
Oddly enough here, Tatanka is going to come in to try to make the save for The Undertaker. He had a feud going on with Bam Bam Bigelow at this time, and he chops Bam Bam and attacks Bam Bam on the outside, and the referee is staring right at it and doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, and even JR says that. He's like, why wasn't that DQ? So, thanks for throwing him under the bus. But, yeah, he didn't get – I have no idea why, but Taker basically hits a choke slam and pins with a classic pin at 5 minutes and 42 seconds. So, and then Gorilla on commentary is like, there should be an asterisk by that win due to Tonka's interference. So, who knows?
Yeah, let's put the asterisk right there. We'll do it officially on this podcast.
All right. There you go.
We cut back to Paul Bearer at the funeral loading dock.
Oh, yes, my Undertaker. Sometimes I just can't find the words to describe him. Deadly, maybe.
What he comes up with to describe the man that he spends his entire life with, but there you go.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
going to lead to a rare match against Yokozuna. Going back here, we covered a couple of those matches, the casket matches from Rumble 94 and Survivor Series 94. This is going to predate those by nearly a year.
Yeah, this is from March 8th, 93 from the Civic Center in North Charleston, South Carolina. It's actually at a Superstars taping, but they filmed this just for Coliseum home video. So pretty cool. I tried to do a little digging here just to give you guys, at home context for where these matches are coming from, because they obviously don't say them on the matches themselves. I had to go look them up. So anyway.
Yeah, you can tell it's early in Yoko's run because Mr. Fuji still has hair at this point. He's got a buzz cut on, so that was kind of weird. And he's doing the full entrance that he used to do there at the beginning with the geisha girls presenting him flowers and doing the ceremonial salt toss, all that sort of stuff. Yokozuna is announced at 505 pounds, and JR says, if that boy is 505 pounds, then I'm a Boston attorney, and I can't even spell attorney. And you can tell from my accent I'm not from Boston. So
no subtlety.
Not a bit. Thanks for explaining it all, Jay.
So is he saying he's more than 505 or less than 505?
Yeah, he's saying he's bigger than that.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I got it. So, but JR goes on to prophesy that Yokozuna will one day be carrying the gold in the near future, which I thought was kind of neat. So, because he's right. About a year later? No.
Well, no, just a couple weeks later.
Just a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excuse me.
And JR and Gorilla are just riffing here, man. They talk about Undertaker being associated with the long gone Brother Love. And Gorilla says, well, that really didn't endear him to a lot of people. They're just having fun. You can tell this is just, Casual Friday or whatever. I don't know when they recorded these commentary tracks, but probably had
day drinking Friday.
Few six-packs open, yep.
Yeah.
Just goofing off.
Yeah. He's announced from Death Valley, and Gorilla's like, well, where else would you expect him to be from? Sheboygan? Which, if anybody listens to Chris Jericho's podcast, that's his go-to. Anytime he says anything that's off the beaten path, it's always Sheboygan. He always says Sheboygan, no matter what he's talking about. So it's just weird how everyone.
Gorilla.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. So, but they're good, man. Bill Alfonso's the ref. Freaking A, man. He needs that whistle in his mouth. So,
yeah, it's not the same without that.
Not the same. So there's not too much to talk about with this match either. It's 4 minutes. There's, the sumo stuff and the salt throw, and then Taker and Yoko go nose to nose in the middle, and then Taker hits what I just wrote, Yokozuna hits what I just compared to E Honda palm strike from Street Fighter, which he looks like E Honda anyway. I always thought of him as E Honda, and he does like the palm strike. And then Taker reverses an Irish whip into a DDT, which is always fun to see, and then gets that perfect 10 landing because Yoko clotheslines him over the top rope, and then Mr. Fuji diverts his attention as Yoko slams his head into the steps, and then Gorilla asks a question that I would like to ask. He's like, where's Paul Bearer in all this?
Yeah, seriously. What was the deal with that?
No, I mean, he's out there, but he's not doing anything.
No, yeah.
And then, yeah. And they get back in the ring, and Yoko does like the butt splash, and then a body slam and a leg drop, and then Taker sits up, and then Yoko hits a belly to belly, and then Gorilla asks another question I wanted to ask, which is, why doesn't he cover him?
Well, he can't put him away. Undertaker sits up. Yoko finally grabs his salt bucket, hits Undertaker in the head with it to get Undertaker the win here by DQ after, like you said, about 4 minutes. Yoko drags Undertaker to the corner to hit the bonsai drop again, and Undertaker sits up to avoid it. And then Undertaker gives, I will say it in quotations, chokeslam to Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Yokozuna barely gets off his feet here, but that sends him and Fuji stumbling away. Really, it's just a tease to bigger and better things. I think Vince could already tell at this point he could see money in this match, and it is. It's going to headline a few pay-per-views. It's going to be a big selling point. You know, we debated on here whether those were good matches or not, but definitely a lot of nostalgia for me. This was peak of my wrestling fandom, I would say. It's like 94 to 96, and I just love seeing Yokozuna. Man, he's not the best heel of all time, but to me, he's probably my favorite heel of all time. He's the one I grew up on. He's the one I saw as just the most intimidating, awe-inspiring guy, and Yokozuna is a huge reason why I love wrestling as much as I do. So always fun to see him out there.
That takes us to the next match on the tape, which is Kamala versus Undertaker in the first ever coffin match, which we've covered on episode 7. I'm talking Taker here. We get like a recap of their SummerSlam 92 and then what happened 3 weeks later when, you know, he's freaking out about everything. So we're not going to cover necessarily all of that, but it's just kudos to both men for Kamala for being in character and playing that, you know, that jungle savage that's afraid of stuff, and Taker for going all in on this coffin match, you know, and it's a short 5-minute match, and we've already covered it, but Taker wins it, so.
That was the big thing we pointed out on that episode, or 2 episodes. We got 1 match with Kamala on here, 2 in our archives. You can go back on early on to see those, but these guys had so much commitment to their characters, and that's what you can enjoy out of that. So that's going to bring us to our main event for the tape, our main event for the night, how we're going to close things out here. Undertaker versus Crush, the evil heel Crush with Mr. Fuji. The real main event, though, is our commentary team. Take it away.
Oh, man, yes. So this is November 30th, 93 from Springfield Civic Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. So out of the 5 matches we got, 3 of them from Massachusetts. This is on a Wrestling Challenge taping. They filmed it afterwards. So anyway, we got commentary team, which is a freaking delight to my ears, man. It is Gorilla Monsoon and Johnny Polo, who, for those of you who don't know Johnny Polo, he will become Raven. You know, everyone knows. So, and I cannot overstate how much I love Johnny Polo on commentary. He has been sadly missing from our lives, and I had no idea. So, oh man,
they were
so
excellent. This was clearly 3 or 4 drinks in for both of these guys recording this commentary track. Polo keeps calling the Undertaker the underwear taker. He's real proud of that line, and calls Pat Bearer a pasty-faced tub of goo.
Like multiple times.
Blatantly fat shaming Paul Bearer. Man, feel sorry for the guy, but it cracked me up.
And then did you see the kid in the audience that has the Undertaker placemat? So good. Dude, he has an Undertaker placemat, and even Polo's like, what's the point of that? And he's like, it's a place where you eat your food on it. It's the Undertaker. So it is so good, man.
Incredible.
But here comes just probably the best thing I've heard in a long time. So I'm going to run through this here. So Gorilla goes, we'll talk about guys with agility, and then Polo cuts him off, and he's like, Paul Bearer? Because if you've ever listened to Raven, he can't stand to not get his comments in there, and he still had that back in Johnny Polo days. I didn't realize he had it back then. He can't let a comment go without interjecting. So, and then Polo says all these things about himself, and he says that he's omnipotent. Well, Gorilla thinks he says he's impotent.
Do you consider yourself, Johnny Polo, a broadcast journalist?
I consider myself a jack of all trades.
And master of none, right?
Stop it, Gorilla. I'm the master. Look, I'm a successful wrestler, a successful manager, a successful broadcast journalist.
Well, as a broadcast journalist, would you like to enlighten all our Coliseum home video fans as to what is inside the urn?
It's none of their business.
I'd like to know.
It's none of your beeswax
Do you
either.
know? You don't know, do you?
I do know. I know everything.
You don't know.
I'm omnipotent.
You don't have a clue.
I'm omniscient, omnipotent, and more importantly,
You're impotent. Is that what you said? Oh,
I'm omnipotent.
I thought you said you were impotent.
Well, no, that's why I was wearing a tuxedo the other day. Because if you're going to be impotent, you better look impotent.
I legitimately had to pause the tape because I was laughing
Me
so
too.
hard at that line.
Oh, man.
It just came off the top of his head.
Dude, it rolled off his tongue. Like, he did not have that, like, written down. He just, golly, he's so fast. Did you say impotent? No, that's why I had to talk to you. If you're going to be impotent, you better look impotent.
Gotta look impotent.
Yeah, I just got, man, it's so good that he came up with that out of nowhere, man. It's just, that's the best thing I've heard in weeks.
We got to use that and the punt card line, in the future, and just in general life. We want to use both of those lines going forward.
Absolutely, I absolutely will. I promise to. So
the commentary is the highlight of this. Going back, the match itself is fine. Okay, not great, certainly. It is.
Yeah.
We see the rope walk from The Undertaker. Crush ducks a clothesline. Super kicks Undertaker to the outside as Polo and Gorilla argue over whether it was a reverse thrust kick or a reverse crescent kick, which is something I've always never been too sure of either. Crush uses a padded chair on the outside while our referee, Bill Alfonso, is distracted by Fuji and Bearer. And the commentary is saying, where did he get his officiating license? In a Cracker Jack box? Oh, man, they're just riffing through this whole match. It was so much fun.
They're great, man. They're awesome, man. And a little bit earlier than that, too, Crush attacks Taker from behind, and Polo says, from behind, the best way to do it, Gorilla, which if anybody of you know Raven and his out-of-the-ring escapades, that was definitely an X-rated shoot comment. So it was, yeah. But, yeah, man, they were just all over the place. Like you said, they probably had several six-packs this day when they were recording this, and they are 3 sheets to the win, and it is hilarious for us. So, and then one thing I do want to say too that Johnny Polo said, he says that the best way to beat Taker is to cover him immediately, since it takes him like 3 to 4 seconds to set up anyway. What an astute observation!
That's great strategy, man.
It's great. It's like, and then you can have a ref do a quick count and you win. So it's like, yeah, he's right though. It takes Taker like 4 seconds to set up, so just cover him immediately. You get the 3 count. So, oh, he's so great, man.
Crush actually gets a ton of offense here. He hits a backbreaker, and then he does, I always loved when I was a kid, especially Crush doing that over-the-head military press slam where he just kind of keeps bench pressing the guy over his head. Crush actually did that to Undertaker here. Got him up over his head and then, pressed him up 3 or 4 times, that's probably the biggest guy I've ever seen him do that to, and pretty crazy that Undertaker let him do that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say is, like, in real life, these guys are friends, and so, I don't know if he's part of that BSK with him or whatever, but I guess he is, but, at this point, I don't think, Taker has quite the clout that he will have in years to come, but you can tell that he's pretty protective of his gimmick, but the fact that he let him do this to him goes to show the respect he has for Brian Clark here. In my opinion, that's just me guessing because they are, friends in real life. So it was really impressive to see that. So
that's not going to be enough though, because Crush is going to try his own tombstone, but Undertaker is going to reverse it. And after 4 matches on a Undertaker tape, we're finally going to see our first tombstone in match number 5.
And it's a reversal.
Yeah. Only choke slams up to this point, which is really, really strange. But Undertaker does get a tombstone to close us out right. Does a classic arms folded pin to win the match here after about 7 minutes. Undertaker tries to go after Fuji and Crush again, but Paul Bearer pulls him back, and that's going to wrap it up for us here.
I would like to thank you for joining me. Until we meet again. Well, in peace.
And That's it, man. We're gonna bury the dead man right here.
Put some dirt on that 6-foot grave, I guess, and bury him down. He'd ride off into the sunset, as Steve Austin says. So, yeah, this tape was worth checking out for the commentary on that last match alone.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Fast forward to that. Just enjoy that. What a great way to go out on here.
Yeah.
But we're not quite done yet. We got one more thing for you folks. We have been doing this for so long, and we wanted to kind of share, maybe debate real quick, talk about what our top 10 matches of this Undertaker run were. So we both looked back over the whole run, analyzed it, tried to pick out what our favorites were. And we have not shared those with each other yet. We don't know what they're going to be.
Nope.
How do you want to do it? You want me to do mine? You want to do yours? You want to go back and forth? What should we do here?
We'll just alternate. Let's just alternate 10s all the way up to 1s, I guess. You want to do that?
All right.
I'll give my number 10. You give your 10. Does that make
All right.
sense? I mean,
We'll
we'll
do
probably
that
have some of the same ones, but we'll see how we rank them. So,
Okay.
All right. So this is Travis's top 10 Talking Taker matches so far. 62. So I got my number 10 is Episode 3, Survivor Series 91 versus Hulk Hogan, his first ever WWF title win. And yeah, okay. Well, here's why. Just because, it really wasn't that great of a match, but just as far as seeing him only 1 year in win that title and just taking it, Hogan took a bad tombstone, but seeing Hogan lay down for him, what it's going to lead to, I don't know. It was really fun to go back and revisit that, and I think that's my number 10 match of this era.
Interesting. I did not expect that one from you on your list. Very cool there. For me, definitely. I mean, that one's definitely historically important. That one did not crack my top 10. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
So finding out now we don't have the exact same top 10. Interesting. Anyway,
Nope.
My number 10
from the get-go.
coming in at number 10 for me was the Buried Alive match versus Mankind from October 1996. In Your House, Buried Alive, and I would not have expected that when we started this podcast. I did not remember liking that one as much, but dude, that match told a great story. It was so physical. It was so much fun. The ending of it was kind of a train wreck with them, all the heels coming out and all the gaga there at the end. But I really, really enjoyed that match and enjoyed his feud with Mankind very much. So that one came in at number 10 for me, Buried Alive.
Well, yeah, that match, that's where he jumps to the outside from the top rope, I think. Taker does, and it just, I have no clue how Mankind walks today from this, just based on this match alone. So, well, we'll see that on my list. Mine's a little higher than yours.
Okay.
So my number 9 is from our episode 40. That's In Your House, Ground Zero 97. It was Taker versus Shawn. So I love that match. It does have that. It's got that ending where Taker jumps over the shooting cow press or whatever. He jumps over onto everybody, and that's my number 9 here. So just that match. It had a kind of a schmozz ending, if I believe, or DQ or something like that. But just that match they have incredible chemistry. I love those two together. I wish we had more of it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, good stuff.
I love that match as well.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me, though, is Capital Carnage, 1998, the Fatal 4-Way, the UK pay-per-view, Undertaker versus Kane versus Mankind versus Austin. I think that one, maybe not would make a lot of people's top 10, but for me, it was so unexpectedly fun. And I think I even talked you into enjoying it. Maybe you didn't enjoy it at first watching it, but I kind of talked you into it. And yeah, that one snuck under the radar for me. So I had to put it in there. It was one of the most fun matches, one of the biggest surprises I had doing this podcast. So I had to get it in the top 10 there at number 9.
Well, that one was my other top 10, like my number 10. It was between that and Hogan that I had, and I had to just scratch that one because you're right. At first, I had to be talked in and enjoying it. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Once I saw your side of it and what you talked me into it, I really did enjoy that match. But I still think Hogan beats it out for me. But yeah, I can't say that's bad. I agree. That's a good match. So, number 8 for me would be episode 27. We got In Your House 11, Buried Alive. So there you go.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
ranked mine a little bit higher than you did. So yeah, we don't need to discuss that one again. So
Number 8 for me was, I went back into the early years here with WrestleMania 8, Undertaker versus Jake the Snake Roberts. I believe that was episode 5 for us.
yeah,
Again, I think I've referenced this match quite a bit on here. It's only about 5 minutes. They only do maybe 3 or 4 wrestling moves in this match, but the presence of these guys and the story that they tell with limited action, but just with their
true.
with their actions themselves and their characters, I thought it was an incredible piece of work, and I really enjoyed it. And so that one made my top 10.
Well, there you go, man. Well, that is a great one. I just completely overlooked that. Honestly, that's not on mine at all.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it is good. My number 7 is going to be our episode 21, which is WrestleMania 12, Taker versus Diesel. I love this match.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I remember saying that this was a one-off, man. Like I remember us both saying we wish we saw more of this stuff because it was fun, man. These two big guys that can actually work a little bit. I mean, Diesel's a little more limited than Taker's, but I really enjoyed the heck out of this. Way more. Maybe I enjoyed it more than I thought I was. So I just remembered fond memories of this match. As I got it ranked at number 7.
That's cool, man. That one did not make my list, but it was right at the periphery.
Really?
It's right, like
okay.
maybe 13, 12, 11, somewhere in
Okay.
that range. It was in contention, but it didn't quite make it in there for me, but I did enjoy that. Yeah, I'm okay with that call on yours. Number 7 for me is my first appearance of Bret Hart on this top 10, SummerSlam 97 versus Bret Hart. Really loved the chemistry that these guys had. I thought all 3 of their matches were incredible. I will say not all 3 made my top 10, but 2 of them did. And the first one is SummerSlam 1997.
Very interesting there, dude, because 2 of theirs make mine as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that brings me to my number 6, which is Royal Rumble 96, Bret versus Taker for the title.
Ah.
So, yeah, I have – so you – okay. Well, all right. Well, so – all right. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but still, yeah, I got Royal Rumble ranked here at 6. And
Fair enough.
Spoiler alert, the SummerSlam one will come a little bit later on. So I guess I put it a little bit higher regard than you did here. So interesting. But, yeah, you can't really go – you can mix and match all 3 of their matches we covered.
Yes.
They're pretty good. It's nitpicking as far as which one's better. So, yeah, I can't disagree with you there. It's a great match, and like I said, that leads me to my number 6, which is episode 20, Royal Rumble 96, him versus Bret. So,
Yeah, that was a real coming out party for Undertaker, right there.
yeah,
Getting to
he
see him.
wrestled.
Yeah, to see that. Very, very cool match. Number 6 for me was Royal Rumble 1998, the casket match against Shawn Michaels. I've got that in there. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels feud is incredible. Some of the best matches Undertaker ever had. So many memorable moments in there. I thought that was a great way to close things out. It was maybe my favorite feud that we got to see during this run was stuff with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. They just had such intensity with each other, such chemistry with each other. So I've got the casket match in there at number 6.
Wow, that doesn't even crack mine, man.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, I can't disagree with that, man. That one was up there. It was going back. Those number 9 and 10 spots that one was on there. I will tell you that. But I had to cut several off to make sure. But there's some other ones I just had Shawn, and I honestly, you could have the top 10 to be just Shawn and Bret matches with Taker. Honestly, if you want, so it's hard. But yeah, that's good stuff, man. That is a great match, and that match was better than I remember when we went back and covered it.
It was. Yeah.
It was a fun match. So, well, that's my number 5. We're hitting the top 5 territory here, which is episode 47, King of the Ring 98, Taker vs. Mankind for the most infamous Hell in a Cell of all time. So, again, basically a squash match as we recorded, as we talked about. We did the watch along, but I think just for the iconicness of it, whatever that word is I'm missing there, but just how infamous and famous this match is, I had to put that in my top 5. So
I'm going to piss a lot of people off here, of our listeners. That match, not in my top 10.
Dude, I understand.
It's incredible spectacle, and I'm not disrespecting anybody that loves it or thinks it's their favorite Undertaker match. To me, going back and watching it, of course, the spots are incredible and amazing, but I think we talked about it on there. For me, that's all it is. Like once they get in the ring, it's basically an Undertaker squash, and against the guy who can barely function.
He's about to die.
And I don't know, man. It just doesn't. It's not my favorite. I love parts about it, but I couldn't put it in there. It's not one of my favorite Undertaker matches. So I wasn't sure if you were going to put it in there or not. So that's interesting. Number 5. Number 5 for me, you mentioned it already, Ground Zero versus Shawn Michaels. So 2 Shawn Michaels matches in a row for me right there. That's, such a cool angle, such a cool fight with those guys. That spot with Undertaker jumping over the top at the end, the whole story with them beating up all the referees.
Yeah.
Oh, man. One of the most fun matches we got to cover here on this show.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think I'd ever seen it before we covered it, too. It was just so good, man. I loved it. So, good stuff. Yeah, well, my number 4, man, is episode 61 from the SummerSlam 99. We just covered it last week, man. Taker Big Show versus Kane X-Pac.
Whoa.
I got it number 4, dude.
Number 4.
It was so fun. And maybe it's because it's fresh in my mind. I don't know. If I went and did this in 10 weeks, I might not have it ranked that high. But, dude, I love that match.
Wow. That's the first one that shocked me. It's
a 12-minute sprint, dude. It was awesome. There was nonstop action.
It's probably in my top 15. It did not crack my top 10, but wow, that's high.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me is my second appearance of Mankind, or third. I guess he was in that Fatal 4-Way. So King of the Ring 96 versus Mankind. That's the one, some people, and you included, you want King of the Ring 98, Hell in a Cell. You want to go back and rewatch that? I want to rewatch 96 versus Mankind. Their first match with each other. Chemistry was off the charts. One. Really, really enjoyed that one. So that's number 4 for me.
Yeah, just impeccable chemistry from Jump Street. It's ridiculous. So good, man.
All right, top 3.
All right, man. Top 3. My number 3 match is episode 39 from the SummerSlam 97, Taker versus Bret Hart for the title. Like you said, just one of the best finishes in history of any match I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes. I cannot put over the finish that match. Again, the technical aspect is great. I think you could interchange, like I said, any of these Bret Taker matches, but this one is up there as the best for me just because of that finish. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So it's my number 3, man.
My number 3 also involves Bret Hart, but I'm going to go with One Night Only versus Bret Hart from 1997. Yeah. I thought that was their best match. I thought it played off their other stuff. Yes, SummerSlam has the better finish. Royal Rumble is cool because it, like I said, it's Undertaker's coming out party, but I thought just they had so much time on One Night Only. And
they did.
It's got a weak finish, that's for sure, but I enjoy that match.
That was that weird DQ type thing. Yeah.
But I love that match the most out of their trio. And I'm going to be shocked if we don't have the same top 2 here. I don't know what order they're going to be
I think we do.
But I feel like we got to have the same top 2 here.
We've got 2 glaring omissions that I know we both love, and so I think that my number 2 is episode 32, In Your House Final 4. Mm-hmm. Taker, Vader, Austin, and Bret. Is that what you got too?
That's my number 2. Yep.
All right. Yep. There. I had a feeling our top 2 or 3 would be the same. So, yeah, man, can't put that match over enough. That is the most bonkers 4-way I've ever seen. It's so good. Talk about nonstop action. Everything meant something. It's strong style. It's great, dude. Great stuff.
I couldn't put it as number 1. I
nope.
had it at number 1 for a second, but I'm like, it's just not. Undertaker gets eliminated halfway through it. He's not there at the. It's just it's awesome. It's incredible.
It is.
I encourage everybody to go check it out, and it's top 10, top 2 for me. But I think number 1 has to be number 1.
Number 1, so why don't you go ahead and say it then, since you didn't get to say your number 2, since I stole that thunder.
That's
so number 1 is the same for both of us.
It is Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez at SummerSlam 19. No, of course. Bad Blood, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell. The best, still to this day, Hell in a Cell match. The peak of their feud. Incredible storytelling. all the blood, all the spots, the debut of Kane, everything.
Kane.
Just, I mean, the best.
The
best
table
match
bump
we've
nobody
covered.
talks
The table
about.
bump. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's still one of my favorite matches. It goes back and forth between what else I don't know, but that one's always up there. My favorite matches of all time. I just love that match. It's so good. Yeah, it had to be number one. It was de facto. That one was no debate about. That was number one. Everything from 2 to 10 was debated, and I sat and went back and forth. But I think it's great that our number one's the same. Everything else, I'm honestly shocked at how different ours were.
Me too. Yeah.
Honestly,
Me too.
yeah, it's funny how different they were. But yeah, number one is number one. And if you disagree, I got 2 words for you. I'm just kidding.
Well, here's what we'll do. We'll put both of our lists up online on our social media pages at Talking Taker, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'll let you guys vote and let us know who you think had the better top 10. And I've also got up online, I have got a spreadsheet it's a poll with all 60 of these pay-per-view matches that we've covered on here. And we're going to let you, the Talking Taker followers, vote. So you can go on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram
Sweet.
at Talking Taker. You can vote for your 10 favorite matches on there.
Sweet.
And we'll compile the numbers. We'll see what the fans of The Undertaker, besides us, the fellow creatures of the night, we'll see what you guys vote as his top 10 matches, and we'll give those out to you on next week's show. So we've got our top 10. You let us know which one of us had the better top 10, and you can let us know what your top 10 is there on that poll. We want to hear from you guys because you guys are a huge part of this. You're why we've been doing this. You've been along for the ride. We love each and every one of you, all you out there listening. Shout outs to a few people this week. At Aaron Curtis 426, who was talking about, like, we just asked for some of your favorite moments and memories over this run, and he pointed out SummerSlam 98. Man, that was a peak. That was a huge part of this run against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Some of the best promos we ever saw. And I want to give a shout out to a fellow podcast out there. They are the Bottom Line podcast. Speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, they are at Bottom Line Cast on Twitter. They are doing something similar to what we're doing, just with Stone Cold Steve Austin, kind of going month by month through his career. They've done. They're in the middle of 1996 with him and his WWE run. So check them out if you want an alternate perspective to kind of what we're doing. Shout out as well to the Heel Town podcast, who is undertaking quite the measure of trying to go through every pay-per-view and major show ever. I don't know how they'll ever do that, but God bless them. Godspeed to those guys. At Mongo_ebooks, who's always being supportive to us and craving more Taker talk. We just gave you over 2 hours of it right here, folks. So hope you enjoy all of that. And
sorry or you're welcome, whichever one.
Yeah, man. We got to close out with a bang. We got to cover all this stuff. We've had fun with it, man. Anything else you want to do to put a bow on it, or put on Undertaker's gravestone here? Any other last eulogies you want to say towards the end of this?
Yeah, I'd like to say one. That's just to Paul Bearer, the unsung hero of the Undertaker's rise to prominence. I mean, we mentioned it a long time ago. We didn't realize we both appreciate him more now, looking back 20 years later. Like, I loved him then, but now I really see how much he added to it. And on the outside, on the mic, holding his stuff, being the pallbearer for his things, whatever, it's just, we wouldn't have an Undertaker form for Paul Bearer. I mean, he's part of the package, So, and in the current timeline we're in, he's disappeared. So, see what happens to him.
No, you're right, man. That's one of the biggest things I've taken away from this is, we've got a huge appreciation of The Undertaker, and I think we've seen that the dude could work. Like, the myth is that he became a great worker around the time of, the Biker Taker, right? Some matches that he had during then. That's when he really started working. No, he was, like we said, going against Bret Hart, going against Shawn Michaels. He had some of his most incredible matches during this run, but Paul Bearer, such an integral part of things, such an incredible manager, performer, promo, did so much more than just carry the urn and the belts around and make faces, especially during that heel run. He did an incredible job selling the character of Kane and making him a legend as well. So we will miss covering him as much. Still going to cover him a few times here going forward, but we will definitely miss him going forward. But we are going to go forward. We're going to trade out the time traveling hearse for a time traveling motorcycle next week as we skip ahead to King of the Ring 2000. We'll cover Judgment Day 2000 with The Undertaker's return with a new look,
Right.
a new gimmick and all that, and all of the build to a 6-man tag match at King of the Ring 2000. That's what we're coming back to. So we'll have quite a bit to say about that. As we cover the year 2000, some matches with Kurt Angle that we get to cover. I believe another match with Kane. Yet again, a really fun, another 6-pack challenge here inside a Hell in a Cell that we're going to get to cover.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of new faces, a lot of changes going forward in the year 2000. We can't wait. We know a lot of you can't wait. It's one of the biggest things we heard when we started this podcast was people could not wait till we get to Biker Taker. So we hope you're still listening. And if you haven't tuned in yet, or if you know people that love that Biker Taker character, let them know. Next Friday, we're kicking off that run through 2000 through 2003. It's going to be quite a ride.
It will be, and thank you guys for being there with us this whole time. Like I said, we're not going anywhere. Just this character is, so we're closing this volume, closing this chapter, burying the dead man. We'll rise up again like a phoenix from the ashes on a motorcycle. So we'll see you guys next week. And if you were there at any of these nights, if you were there at any of these matches on this tape we just covered, let us know. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, take her easy.
Just for you. Dance with the Taker. Rest in peace. The most powerful entity in the World Wrestling Federation. Slam Jam Death. Wrestling Federation. Slam Jam Death. The shadow of the valley of death. The devil in black, the Undertaker.